a podcast. It has begun. Warrior Strike. I don't know what episode number we're on. We don't do that here. We just do the episodes. I sound sleepy. My nose is fucked up. It's the way it is, man. Ninja Turtles don't even have noses. It could be worse. I'm playing the shit out of those. Hey, Temp's here. What's up, Temp?
What's up?
Don't let the sound of my voice and face lead you astray. I'm very excited for what we're talking about. There's some good stuff going on. There's a lot of good questions, too. This is going to be a fun episode. Again, I'm way more hyped than I sound. But first, we have to be serious for a minute. Can we start with the Marvel vs. Capcom of it all?
Yeah, I guess we could. I mean, that's sort of a bummer.
It is a bummer. That's why I want to do it, and I want to pay my respects right up top and then move forward.
Yeah, look, Tom Brady said many years ago that the FGC was built on the foundation of Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and I think he's 100% right about that. And I think, maybe the exception, maybe like year 1 or 2. Even then, I think it was there. This is like as far as I know, the first Evo to not feature a Marvel game. At least it's been called Evo.
It is the first.
So that's really sad. And whether it's right or wrong, I think it's wrong. What Mr. Wizard said it was because of the numbers. That's not true because if you look at the tournament numbers for the past 6 months, Marvel consistently beat Guilty Gear. That's at Evo 2018. It consistently beat Injustice, also at Marvel vs. Capcom. Also at Evo 2018. And it consistently beat that new Blaze Blue whatever crossover game, which isn't even out yet and doesn't have a tested tournament base. So I think it's a little fucked up that it's not there. But Mark Mann made a tweet that sort of hinted at, hey, listen, it wasn't our fault. Marvel wouldn't let us do it. So that's not official. That's fucking some Twitter shit. But I don't know. Mark Mann and Mr. Wizard are saying conflicting things.
This sounds dramatic, is what this sounds.
It sounds like Disney's embarrassed because the game looks like shit. And okay, fine. I see why people don't like the way the game looks. I see why Marvel, Disney would want to bury this under the rug, but it still makes me sad. It's still depressing. Like, it's fucking Marvel. And it's like one of the funnest games on the shelf right now. It's so fun. It's so good. All the people I used to play Marvel with on the Skype chat have pretty much ditch the game. They're not fans. They think it's fucking random. The roster is shitty, and I like it. I still think the game's super fun. I think it's super just... there's a lot of gameplay substance there. And a lot of people wanted to see this game fail. They wanted to see Evo not pick up the game.
That is definitely true. You're right about that.
Yeah, if you're happy, cool. Just be nice to the people who are sad about this, because there's a lot of reasons to be sad about this. That's all I can say.
No, that game's never not had like a tangible, distinguishable amount of like legit haters that are just having fun and hating it. Which, I mean, I'm not gonna bag on you for doing that. Like, that's what talking shit's fun. I get it, and boy, there's no shortage to talk with Marvel Infinite. Shit looked weird, man. It looked really weird. But from my even my like very little experience with the game, it was fun to play. Even if it looked weird. Even if fucking Chris had like his eyeballs were really wide and shit. There's just some weird looking shit in the game. It's true, but it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, I'm mad that Chris is even in the game. Like, I wish he wasn't in the game either, guys. I'm sorry. Like, a lot of the reasons people hate this game, I agree with. I don't like a lot of the roster choices. I don't think the graphics look good on a lot of the characters.
Magneto is not a function, you fuckers.
No. And if he was, he's still not in the game. There's no character that plays even close like Magneto. They tried to pass Nova off as that function, but Nova doesn't. He's not the same thing by any means. I don't know. It's fucking.
And that's
sucks.
That's the biggest part. It's like, listen, man, help us help you guys. But when you guys are dishing out the shittiest PR imaginable like that, it's like this game is just getting fucked from every side.
Even if the gameplay wasn't that good, let's assume that I thought the gameplay was trash. I still wish it at least had a chance. Like, KOF got a chance last year, and that game sold less than 500,000 copies. Even Marvel did better than that. Marvel Infinite did way better than that. It still bombed. So I'm like, okay, so the game's not doing so hot. We'll give it a chance. Let's see what happens. Maybe we'll get a really good top 8. Maybe all the Marvel 3 OGs will come out and register. Maybe the numbers will be good. But it never got that chance for either Disney reasons or because Mr. Wizard couldn't be bothered to check the actual tournament numbers it got. So I don't know.
I think that game could have... It's interesting. I think that game could have been a completely different story if... Even now, if after the buzzer, just like giant, hey, we're going to add 6 to 10 characters to the roster, and boom, they're all the ones that people wanted since the announcement. Dude, come on, man. I mean, I would play the game more if some of those characters were in there. And if I'm playing the game more, I know Marvel vs. Capcom players are going to play the game more.
Yeah, that's
so much like
there's no transparency.
that easy kind of shit that was wrong with this game. Well, I mean, easy from our perspective. Obviously, the character choices and whatnot over there are more complicated. And allegedly, those have been, locked in for close to 2 years, if not more now. Like, they've known for a while what characters were going to be in that game, and that's kind of been the trouble there. I don't know. Who the fuck knows? But, man, you put a fucking Wolverine in that game, a Magneto in that game, a Sentinel in that game, stuff like that. It's a different game. It's a different game that's not a big disappointment to a lot of people, in my opinion.
I mean, you're not... I think easy's a fair criticism. I mean, when you look at Dante's face, they didn't do that by accident. They had to animate those bags under his eyes. Like, someone had to design that shit. So it's like, how do you even fuck up that bad? Like, how do you fucking... I don't even know. It's a bummer. And, like, I don't know, whoever designed Chun-Li initially doesn't know what eyes look like. So we'll see. I mean, but I hate the lack of transparency. I hate the fact that Capcom doesn't even want to talk about it. They won't even say if there are no plans or if there are plans, or which actually is probably the only like glimmering piece of hope I have, is the fact they're not saying anything. Because if they're not saying anything, maybe there is the potential something at least similar to a Pro Tour might be announced. I don't know. Maybe like another Battle for the Stones. I mean, how expensive is that? Set up some extra chairs on the side for fucking Capcom Tour. Like, like Capcom Cup, just like, devote a corner to like 2 setups and have a Marvel Infinite tournament. I just announce that shit. Like, sure, we'll do Battle of the Stones again. You'll fucking get to change someone's buttons if you get a, tournament in September.
It's
cool.
Fucking like, I'm over here. I didn't think it would happen. I'm over here asking, please, do a Super Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Please do an arcade edition Marvel. Please sell me the game again. The super version of it. Like, wow. I've learned some stuff in the past couple of years with this game. I've learned, like, stuff like that is what makes it a bummer. Stuff like it having, there's fucking Mega Man X and Sigma and all this cool shit in the game, coupled with all this stupid easy shit that's bad, which makes it worse. That's this kind of stuff that makes it worse, is the good stuff. And if there was just, like, if Capcom was just a little more able to do the shitty things that they've always done, like sell the game again and do a super version of it, I think people would be, like, more than willing to go for that if they could. But, it's complicated with that game.
I don't think people realize just how good of a deal those super installments are. Like, you get, like, 10 to 12 new characters if you pay $40 for Marvel Ultimate Marvel 3. With Super Street Fighter, you get 10 new characters for $39.99. Like, that's a good deal. Like, I don't know why people get so butthurt about that. I guess people want to buy the characters individually.
Well, there's that.
I mean, fine. Okay, cool. I've never done that. I think it's a ripoff.
I think it's to me, it only gets annoying when there's like 6 of them for one game. Like with like Street Fighter 4 with me was way too much. It was fucking like you've milked this shit too much, and I don't fucking care how many Bison dolls you want to put in this one now. Like, you just let's go to the next thing. Stop selling me the same game that's been around since like what 2000 and when did that game come out? 2006, 5?
The arcade came out 2008. The console version came out 2009.
Oh, man, it feels like so much longer with that game.
I mean, that was almost 10 years ago. It's been a healthy while at this point.
Like, just don't, for me personally, don't stretch it out that long. Don't milk it that long. I get all the reasons why they did and whatever, but for me personally, it's just that's where it gets fatiguing. But with with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, please, by all means, please do 1 or 2. And, I mean, it's working for Street Fighter V, right? The new version of that game looks almost like a real game.
Yeah, the UI looks a lot better. The graphics themselves, my biggest problem graphically with Street Fighter V is there's like every stage has like this fog over the colors in the background. It just looks really bad. But no, I realize if you go to the London stage, there's a literal fog that's supposed to be there. But why does the fucking casino stage have a fog? When is there fog in Vegas? Like, maybe there's something about Nevada I don't fucking know. But even like the Capcom Pro stage, where it's like daytime, why are all the colors so fogged out? It looks so gross to me. Anyway, here's a good opportunity. I'm going to do a quick PSA. I'm playing a lot of Tekken right now, and I'm currently looking for competition. Me and Redman have been playing this game a lot. If you do play Tekken on Xbox, and you want, if you're cool with running sets, hit me up on Discord. We're looking for Tekken competition. Street Fighter V, I'm trying to get back into it. That was a little more iffy. If time's available, I want to get back into that too. I might be going to EVO this year. My old roommate said, "Hey, dude, I want to go to Vegas around the time EVO would be happening. So if you want to split the room, let me know." I haven't even come close to working that shit out yet. And honestly, I don't even know if I'm budgeted to go, even if he does want to do that shit in August. So I'm not 100%. But if I do go, and I know I'm going for sure, then I'm grinding out all these games. Like, I'm just going to hit up ranked in all 3 of the games I'd be playing. Possibly 4. Holy man.
What are the games? What are the games?
I would play Injustice for sure. It would be a blow up if I didn't register for Injustice. I'd have to leave the Netherkast. Tekken for sure. Probably Dragon Ball. If I have time to, become proficient at that game, Dragon Ball for sure, and Street Fighter V. If I would want to do 3 of those 4 for sure.
That sounds like fun. Also sounds ambitious.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. But I mean, I actually did better in KOF than I did at most games, and fucking. I did better in KOF than I did at Street Fighter, and Street Fighter was my first tournament game when I went to EVO in 2012. So. Who knows?
I wonder what the competition differential is with King of Fighters. How many entries does that game have? That game's not an EVO though, is it? Is it?
No, it's not. Well, when I went,
it's like the only
they were
Japanese
giving a free
game
shirt if you
that's not
registered. There. Yeah, well, the entrants weren't so hot last year, at least from what I'm told. The year I went, it was, I think, KOF's first year at EVO for that game. So they said, hey, here's a shirt. SNK said everyone who registers for EVO will get a free shirt. So obviously everyone fucking registered for KOF because they want the free my shirt. So yeah, I was beating the fuck out of all these shirt monsters and pulls, and yeah, it was great.
Everybody who enters this thing gets a t-shirt. I would have entered that too. I've never played that video game.
It was a problem. Someone asked Mr. Wizard the next year, hey, are you going to do the shirt thing again? He said, fuck no. Apparently they got like 1,000 entrants and only like 300 people were good at the game, so...
Right. I mean, I don't know if that's good or bad. Like, what do you want from that?
Well, I mean, the crazy thing is I can't wear that shirt anywhere. I have the shirt, but it's just like Maya's titties, like all fucking leaning forward. I'm like, I'm not going to wear that.
I hope you're proud. You earned it, man.
It's like bright-ass red. It's not even like a dark color. It's just bright red. Just my and bright red. It's too much.
How many are there? How many Arxis games are there? I swear, if you drop out again, I'm going to start getting suspicious.
This gig is tapped. If you count, people are counting Dragon Ball FighterZ as an Arc System game, which I guess that makes sense. Yeah, so 3. Guilty Gear, DBZ, and Blaze Blue Cross Battle something. I don't know. I don't care. I don't want. I'm only a very mild fan of Blaze Blue, and I never played it after Continuum Shift. So
it's a lot of anime, man. It's a lot of anime, and people, may not agree, but for me, Tekken is real close to being an anime game. I see fucking, rave wings on characters and fucking panda bears and shit, and I'm like, feels a land.
Yeah. There might be a pop star who swings fucking cat gloves at you, so yes, you're not wrong.
But it's also there. It's okay.
Yeah.
What do we got? What is there that's not Japanese, though? Is it just Injustice?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna pull it up now. I don't know why I'm blanking. We just got the announcement like not even 2 weeks ago. Here we- yeah, you're right. Injustice 2 is the only non-Japanese fighting game.
Damn. Well, that's okay, I suppose.
I mean, really, the only other one we had was KI,
No, it's true. Yep.
and KI
That's
unfortunately
unfortunate. Somebody needs to fix that.
it's going to be a while. I'm pretty sure they do have something lined up for KI, but I wouldn't expect any sooner than 2019.
Well, no, not just KI. Like, dudes in like America, make another fighting game that's good. Like, get another American game on the fucking thing, man. Come on. It doesn't have to be just the Japanese export. And it's funny because, like, the one that's up there is the most profitable, uh, you know, fighting game developers. Period. Right? NRS, don't they like make the most money?
Yeah, I think
Always.
so. Yeah, I don't know what the sales are for DBZ, but yeah, in terms of like Mortal Kombat and Injustice together, yeah, they're killing everyone else by far.
Which is just interesting because there's not that many American dudes out there. Whatever, guys, make more fighting games. That's a bad idea.
No more fighting games,
As soon as
please.
I said it, it's like, I want something to happen. I don't know. I don't know what it is yet. I got to think about that. Um, okay, wait. What else? You wanted to talk about DBZ?
Yeah, I think the game's really good. I played it as much as I've had time to play. Tekken 7's eating a lot of my fighting game time, but between the cracks, I've been working a lot on Dragon Ball Fighters as well, and I think the game is really good. People are blowing it up for being like too easy. I don't feel that way at all. I feel like the game's extremely difficult at high level. It's like Marvel, specifically like Marvel 3 meets Guilty Gear. It doesn't fucking get harder than that. Blocking in this game is so difficult and it's so fast paced. I think the reason people think this game is so easy is because the scrubby shit is so powerful. Like Super Dash into auto combo is an extremely viable tactic right now. And it's very hard to defend in this game. So I'm guessing that's why people say it's so easy. Um, but I think it couldn't be harder. Like just blocking by itself is so difficult in this game, and there's so many intricacies to all the characters. On top of the fact that all the characters have very universal, very dangerous mechanics. Like you can be behind someone with just 1 bar meter, you're behind them, kicking them in the back, like just like that. And even though like outside of a combo context, that's not terribly powerful. It is, it's dangerous. Like it can fucking reposition you just like that. So, and man, just getting damage in this game, there's so much damage potential, and you have to work for your damage. Like there's some really good high damage potential, but you have to work for it. You gotta know what you're doing. You gotta know your spacing. You gotta be very cognizant of where the corner is because their mid-range combos are very different from your corner combos. It's a lot. It's very layered, and I look forward to playing it more. I hope I can make time for it. I hope I can make time for all these games, even if I don't go to Evo, which looks like a 50-50 right now. I still really want to put time into Street Fighter V, Dragon Ball Fighters, Injustice even. I still like Injustice. I know I don't play it very often just because the things I want to do in fighting games, Injustice doesn't let me do, but I don't think it's a bad... It's not like MKX where I don't want to play because I fundamentally disagree with how that game functions. It's not like that at all. I want stagger pressure. Tekken lets me do stagger pressure. Street Fighter lets me do stagger pressure. I want to do cool, awesome combos. Dragon Ball Fighters lets me do cool, awesome combos. Tekken lets me do cool, awesome combos. That's the only reason I don't play the game. But I do plan to get back into it, and it looks like they're doing some really cool shit so far.
There is, well, yeah, the Ninja Turtles are cool shit. That's definitely where the cool shit is. The big patch that came recently, might be cool shit. Depends on who you ask. There's some there's people. I was just browsing through the old questions and comments in the questions for the Shrine place. Which, by the way, if you have not, go there and ask us questions about anything. I don't care what it is. Tim doesn't care what it is. We'll probably, try to say something about it. Like in this right here, talking about like, man, this is so long ago. Supergirl needing a bar meter to do the laser walk thing now. Shit like that is it's interesting. I'm still trying to figure it out too, but I'm jumping back in, not just trying to figure out the whole like big balance change thing, but also learning the new character with the Ninja Turtles. I'm playing Donnie. Donnie's good. Like, I've seen people talk about Donnie being good. I'm not seeing that many Donnies online, though. Mikey's also super good. He's Vortexy, if that's good. It's interesting if that's good or not. It's hard to defend against. That's like the definition of a vortex.
Yeah, I hear really strong things about all of them, really, but, Leonardo and Michelangelo specifically, I've been hearing a lot of crazy shit about.
Leo's just fun to watch because of how his trait works, and he can call in like the like all the other turtles if you know your shit, like mid combo. Like, you can do all of them in a combo and shit, and it looks cool. Donnie makes me Donnie's cool. Whenever I'm playing Donnie well, and I've just gotten to this point within the past, like, maybe couple of days because of it, it's hard to learn a character. I think it's getting harder as I get older to learn a character, to, like, sit down. It's like, boom, you're going in, this is a whole new fucking shit. But in the past couple of days, I've really gotten him under my fingers enough to feel like, I know what I need to do, and I can do it sometimes. That's the thing. Whenever you can do that with Donnie, and you can, like, convert those combos, and you can do that shit, he's got some moves that's, like, makes you feel like the smart turtle, which is, it's good.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's really good in the character design. It's like, fuck, I knew what you were gonna do, and I have a move that's just for that shit, and you're gonna feel really dumb in a minute. That's the kind of shit that I wish Batman did more. I had this very similar thing I said about Robin. I think Donnie does it better, though. Does that better. He feels like a smart character, from, like, the lore background shit. Like, okay, this guy isn't just, being like Mikey, who's just, like, throwing everything at you, and you don't even know what the fuck is going on. Like, that feels like Mikey. That's good. Donnie feels like a smart character. He's got his moves make him feel like a smart character, but they also feel kind of, I don't know, there's some cheap shit with the Turtles, too. That shell dive they do, that's, like, a special move that just is a cross-up, if you want it to be. It just is. Like, that feels so dirty to me. Like, I feel like, I don't know if I want to use that. I don't know. Every time that I've connected that move online, it hits. Just because it's like, what the fuck are you doing? That's like, you have a cross-up button. It's like Batman, but it's worse, kinda. Speaking of Batman, Donnie also has a really good jump to cross-up. It's really, really good. It might be Batman good. It might be better than Batman. I don't know. It's really good.
Here's a question. If you were to go to a tournament and you enter Injustice, I don't know, if you go to Arkansas Regionals, Arkansas Breaker.
Oh my god.
Are you picking Donatello or are you picking fucking Robin? What are you doing?
Arkansas Regionals. Just imagining what that would look like, man. Oh, where would the venue be? Who would be? Oh god, that sounds. Whew. Anyway,
I'm just saying, if you had to pick, like, what would you do?
It's a good question. It's so, what's really, really fun, and it's not at the same time, and this is relevant. When you're learning a new character and you go online, you go out there and you're just braving it because you're an idiot and you're going to get wrecked. You're going to get wrecked. It's the best thing in the world. There's few things that feels, like it's testing your fucking soul. This is Soul Calibur in here. This is fucking, it's a crucible for, test one's souls. Whatever fucking Bane says in his promo. Like, it's you get beat twice because it's a first to 3 in Injustice Ranked. You get it twice, and it's like, oh, I can beat this motherfucker if I switch to my main. If I switch to Robin. If I switch to Robin, I can do it, but it's like, that's not what I need to do. I need to learn how to do this shit with Donnie, where this isn't a thing. And if you stick with it, and then you lose, and you keep doing that, it doesn't feel good. But when you see other people, and you beat them twice with their Ninja Turtle, and they switch to their fucking main, Batman, Superman, Atrocitus, Deadshot, whatever you got, and it's like, see? That person is a shitty player. That's a shitty person. You've got no constitution, sir. Have will. You lack conviction. Like, all this shit. When it gets to the point where you don't have to do that anymore. Where you get to that point where it's like, listen, I don't need to switch to Robin. If I can't do this with Donnie, then it's not gonna be like, it's not gonna be a big shift going to Robin. That's really hard, though. That's really hard not to switch when you know you can get that win with your main. I'm sorry.
I can see for you especially that being a problem because you've been using Robin for so long. But at the same time, I feel like for you that tension has to be there because you're not just switching from Donatello. You're also leaving Damien, which I feel like would be like a double bonus. Not or no, I don't know. What is it? You tell me.
Man, my roller coaster ride with Damien in this game has just been, you know what? I've grown. I still hate Damien as the character.
That sounds like a problem for a character you made. I feel like that's problematic.
You know, it is, but I feel like he is so well designed. I still feel this way. Whoever, like, whatever guy did it at NRS, like, your job was to do Robin. I think it was the same guy that did Takeda, actually. Like, he did it so well that it's like, listen, Damien is a shithead, but I don't care. Like, this thing is really good. His fucking trait is really cool. His fucking, really weird, useless projectile is not useless. It's pretty fucking cool. I really like that character. I don't care if it is Damien anymore. Like, I'm not even mad at Damien. I don't care about the character in the comics. Fuck that guy. He's still a shithead. In the game, he's still a shithead. Like, in the lore. But I don't care. I like Robin, man. Robin in this game was so much better than I thought he was going to be and could be. And yeah, I still want to switch to Robin a lot. Robin is just a really rewarding character whenever you win with him.
Yeah, I mean, I know the feeling. I had a very similar feeling with Triborg and Smoke. And there were times I'm like, if I go to Cryomancer, this shit would be done. But I'm trying to make this work. I'm trying to make this happen, so...
But when you do make it happen and you get to that point, it feels better. It feels way better. It's like, listen, man, if... It doesn't feel as good whenever you just quit back to your main and you do get the win. It's like, well, yeah, man. I don't know. It does something for me. It feels good.
Well, look, I guess what makes the decision a little easier is that Robin didn't get any changes in the February patch.
Nope.
They did some shit. They buffed a lot of characters who, in my opinion, did not need buffs at all. Oh, no, I take that back. No, it was just bug fixes, and they changed the visual effect on his Assassin Strike. But that's it. Other than that, he's pretty much unchanged.
Yeah. I was pretty happy with what they did with him. Bane is still weird, man. Bane is never not going to be weird in this game.
I fucking hate Bane. Why did they buff? That character got more buffs. Holy fuck. No, they're minor, like they're not game changing, but the character was already really fucking good in my opinion.
It's just weird watching him now. Like, it's interesting to see the way that people have like kind of figured out his weird spots and to watch him play, and he just like scoots all over the fucking stage really fast. It's like, I know what you're doing, but it just like, it looks like you got, those guys have to be like mashing their fucking direction pad off the chain over there. Like, they're just fucking scooting across the stage everywhere they go, because that's like what Bane does. You get the knockdown, you scoot in close, you want to get like a meaty throw or some shit. I know what you're doing, but it probably looks funny over there.
It's a little silly. It's man, I hate that matchup. Green Lantern got a lot of shit though. They really helped out Green Lantern. He has a lot of plus frames on cool shit now. He got a damage boost, which was, I think, really cool. I honestly don't think he needed a whole lot. This may be overkill, but it's fine. I think his super finally hits overhead. That didn't make any sense. I didn't do it before.
Did Batman get? I feel like Batman got a nerf.
If he did, I didn't hear about it. No, nothing for Batman that I can see.
Oh man, that's another thing about Donatello. His fucking trait where he disables jumping. It's like, it's a little dirty. It's a little, I don't know, man. Not only does it disable jumping, it does a little damage too. I like it. I like that shit. But if you're playing against Donnie, at least the way that I play him, I have that shit out like a lot. You're gonna be not being able to jump for most of the match if you're fighting my Donnie. And against Batman, it's like, fuck your cross-ups. Like, I can just kind of take that out. Like, yeah, he can still do, whatever. He can still throw batarangs. But the Ninja Turtles also have that projectile eating move. Turtling, that's what it's called. Can't believe I forgot about that. That's a weird move. It's interesting, though. What does it do? I think it just gives you like a fifth of a bar a meter, which isn't bad. But I guess what makes it fair is that, like, whenever you successfully do it and eat a projectile, you, like, flip backwards so you're losing ground, you're losing space, and then turtles are pretty close range characters. But if the person's weird and they just want to throw fireballs at you all day, you can usually eat them all. So that's weird. It looks weird at full screen. I don't know. Turtles are cool though. What was I even talking about? Oh, yeah, getting rid of Batman's jump-ins. It's interesting seeing what a lot of online Batman players do whenever they don't have that option. It's really just batarangs at that point.
That sounds awful. That sounds super not fun. And I was against nerfing his jump too. I was so against it at the time. And I guess I still am. I don't play the game enough to really have strong feelings on a lot of the stuff. I mean, it's no fault of, well, it's kind of the fault of the game. I still hate how the game handles recovery frames, and I still hate all the gaps. But there is the will to play it more. It's just there's a lot of games out there right now.
No, there's a lot of games out there. His jump 2 is still good. It is good. It's just not good whenever he can't jump. That's when it's not good.
I want to go back to Sub-Zero. Like, they fixed a lot of the stuff that I had problems with back when I played them. So that February patch helped him quite a bit.
I wanted to do that too as soon as I heard that patch, but that's another thing. I can't juggle characters. Like if I jump back to 1, I'm gonna forget everything with Donnie, and I'm gonna be playing half of both characters and doing each other's moves, and it's a fuck show. But the Sub-Zeros that I've played seem good. They're doing some cool looking shit. Looks like those guys are having fun. I'm jealous.
Yeah, I'm jealous too. I miss Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero in Injustice is fun. He's always been fun. He's been super, super, super fun.
You never got to see my shitty Sub-Zero either. I geared him out in like the worst way possible.
You told me about that. What color did you put on that? Did you use the purple one?
No, I used the yellow.
That's only a little better.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I'll take a cell phone picture of it next time I play that game. Like a year.
You know you can take screenshots in the game. It's really
I don't know
easy.
how to do that. That sounds really hard.
They make it so easy.
I don't know what these buttons do.
It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. How do you... We never even discussed that. How do you feel about his shaders that are... the red and yellow ones that are supposed to be modeled after Sector and Cyrax?
I think the yellow one looks kind of shit.
But you use it.
Yeah, well, that's why I use it. I try to make him look as bad as possible, because
okay.
None of my other bad characters look that good. They just look shitty, but he looks hilariously bad, so... I took off his hood, so he just has like the Gambit hood, like the Gambit skull cover thing. Like, it's fucking so shitty looking.
Wait, with no mask?
I guess no, because you can't see his hair, so it's not true Gambit. It's more like what Raiden has. It's a lot closer to Raiden's golf ball helmet thing.
But do you have a mask on?
No, I have no mask.
So it's just the fucking weird, like, Cyclops shit. Like the skull thing, whatever.
Yeah, without the visor, yeah.
That's the weirdest... I mean, if you're going for the worst than Sub-Zero, you're doing it right. I couldn't even believe that option was in there. Like, you can have the weird head, not the hood, just like the tight head thing from Mortal Kombat 3 with no face mask. It's like, why is this an option? This is so fucking weird. Who would ever want to do this?
It's straight up gross. I love it.
Listen, this is a really good time to address this one thing quickly. MKX gets Injustice 2 gets a lot of shit talked about it because of the gear. Gear is kind of like Marvel Infinite. It's just fun to talk shit about gear all day. Cool. But there's some Sub-Zeros that look fucking sick in this game because of the gear shit. And there's some Raidens that look hella fucking sick in this game because of gear. And the combinations you can do of gear and shaders that you never would have seen in Mortal Kombat without this shit. There's some good shit from the gear system. There's some good shit the gear system has given us. There's some terrible shit, like what you do to your Sub-Zero sounds awful. But there's some good shit too.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I did make some cool gear loadouts for Sub as well. I have some cool looking Sub-Zeros. Just because as much as I hate the gear, I do like the shaders a lot. Most of the shaders in the game, there's a good portion that don't, but a lot of characters do shaders really well. Green Lantern does shaders really well. I imagine, slipped my mind. It's gone now. But anyway, other characters don't. All the Cheetah shaders look really shit. A lot of the God, it's been so long since I played this game. There's some good shaders. I like a lot of the shaders.
There are some good shaders. I've learned something about myself because of the shaders in this game. There's been a recent shader update at some point that gave Robin a like a primarily yellow shader. So it's just black, red, and yellow, but mostly yellow. I dig the fuck out of this color scheme. I never even knew this about myself. It's the fucking sickest shit. And like I said, it's mostly yellow. It's just got like a little red detail. No green. I'm all about no green Robins. I've always been about no green Robins, which is probably why I like Tim Drake as well. And then fucking my wife was in there the other day. It's like, why are you playing this fucking X-Men looking Robin? And I was like, oh, I get it now. Okay.
That's tight.
I never would have fucking put it together, but it's true. And I would put this on like any fucking character. I don't know what it is. I want a Robin now because there's never been one in the comics that's been like super yellow. Like yellow is his main color, and the red and maybe green are the detail ones. I'm getting weird here, but look, man. Thanks Injustice 2, and thanks the Injustice 2 gear system, you fucked a lot of things up. Sorta, and well, no, you mostly made a lot of things frustrating, like mind-numbingly frustrating. But there's some good shit too. I like a lot of the Raidens in this game. A lot of Raiden shit looks really cool. Have you seen much Raidens in this game?
A little bit, not too much. I think I played Redman's Raiden for like 3 or 4 matches. I never saw him again.
And fucking Sub-Zero's classic, classic themed gear from the Mortal Kombat 1/2, and even the MK3 gear, which I still don't have all of it. It looks really cool. I think that shit looks really cool. I think it looks way better than any of the classic skins they've had in MKX or MK9. That stuff looks super, super good. Now I'm just wanting to play fucking Mortal Kombat characters in Injustice.
I do agree that his classic costumes look really good. I especially like the UMK3 one a lot. I think it looks really, especially when you put like Reptile or Ermac shaders on there, it looks really good.
It's like, why can't you guys do this in an actual Mortal Kombat game? In MKX, the MK3 skins, they were okay, but they were off.
The masks look so bad. And I know Razor says they always looked like that. And maybe they did, but not on the select screen they did. In the select screen, they had very distinct contours and designs. So I was hoping they'd bring that back, but no, they brought back the penciled in lines, and I'm like, I don't know about this. I do not.
They did. Even in the versus poses in UMK3, like the masks were better. Like they were better rendered, and differently rendered than the ones that they went with. Yeah.
For sure, definitely.
I don't know what was going on in MKX, but in Injustice 2, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that covers almost everything before we get to the questions. The only thing I can think of is
we're taking way too long on this Injustice 2 bit here.
Well, it's been a while. We haven't really touched Injustice in a while, so it's I think it's good to remind people we still like the game, especially since Razor, especially Shad, especially those guys are super not into Injustice these days. Even Cyborg is not super crazy about playing it these days, which is fine. I think we all kind of got what we wanted out of it for now. I'd like to go back to it competitively, but those three are just very ready for MK11. They have their sights set forward. They've done the Injustice thing. They're ready to move on. I don't feel quite that way, but I too have the problem of just booting up the console and playing Injustice. So
it's true.
That's been a challenge.
It's a thing, and it's been interesting because Ninja Turtles has thrown a monkey wrench into that. I was right there with everyone, but then when they announced that shit, it's like, wait, this changes shit because I might like Ninja Turtles as much as Mortal Kombat. It's tough. You're like, these are both part of like my childhoods, my plural childhoods. It's like, wait, which one do I want? I thought I was good to go with Injustice 2, but now there's Ninja Turtles? What is this? How's this gonna fucking work? And I'm having a blast with them. I think they were executed really, 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 really well. Which is good. And it is weird that they're right here at the end of the game, because I'm wondering how long are the Ninja Turtles specifically going to keep the game alive now? Because that's about all there is to keep it alive. But if you wanted something to put at the end to keep the game alive, I don't know what you could do better than throw in the 4 fucking Ninja Turtles. Like, this shit's good, man. It's good.
Yeah, keeping the game alive is an interesting topic just because I feel like they finally got the meta in a really nice place, but I feel like it just came too late. I mean, I thought the game was semi-balanced before, but I think Deadshot was ridiculous. But even if he wasn't ridiculous, he really hurt that game's meta, and it made a lot of people really not want to play the game, which is unfortunate. So yeah, I feel like in many ways Injustice 2 is dead. That enthusiasm outside in TYM, you still see people who are very much knee deep in the game still, and that's cool. But I think everywhere else, like the NK guys, like even myself to an extent, we're kind of forward looking right now. We're looking at what's next coming in June. We're not really thinking about Injustice at the moment, despite what we may think of the game. I like the game, but it doesn't change the fact that it's not on the priority list right now.
That's understandable. I'm hyped for MK11. I'm super hyped for MK11. I think right now what happened was Injustice 2 kind of became a Ninja Turtle game. And so I'm kind of not thinking of it that much. Like, oh, there's Batman in the game? I guess. There's some fucking Mortal Kombat characters in the game, too, and Ninja Turtles. Like, I don't know what this game is anymore. But it's another thing in my brain at the moment that's not quite Injustice. And you don't get much Ninja Turtle, like, cool Ninja Turtle video game shit, so it's just weird. It's a little thing that came out of nowhere that I don't really register in connection to Injustice 2, even though it is obviously part of Injustice 2. Man, there's a lot of guest characters in that game. And I don't hate it in Injustice 2. That's not a super popular opinion, I think.
I just don't really have feelings on DLC anymore. I just don't have thoughts on the subject these days. DLC for any game, I'm just like, really the only game that really has DLC that actively interests me right now is Street Fighter V. And that's because the game only came out half completed. So
yeah, that's because the game is just now getting like Blanca and Sagat and shit. It's like, oh, these guys are coming finally. Where they fucking been, man?
Yeah, the game finally has a standard roster size, so it's like, okay, now it's like a normal fighting game. That's why I care about that DLC. But also, I like Sakura, I like Blanca. I think they did a really good job on both those characters.
I am like, but already like with MK11, I'm like, whoa, guest characters, whoa. It is really interesting the difference I feel between guest characters for Injustice and guest characters for Mortal Kombat. Guest characters for Mortal Kombat is a scary, scary proposition.
Yeah,
they're coming though. They're gonna happen. They're gonna do it to us, and it's gonna be weird.
Yeah, I think the time is right to do it for Street Fighter. If you're gonna put Akuma in MK11, I don't think there's a better time than now. But I feel like with Tekken 7, it's so hard to do it. I just don't think with Tekken 7 using the whole Akuma guest character thing, I feel like it's just too late now. But we'll see.
Well, it's weird because I don't think it's going to be too late until they do it once. Because people's been wanting that fucking crossover forever Mortal Kombat Street Fighter thing. And even, I mean, if it's just Akuma, it's not quite scratching that itch as much as it needs to be if it's going to be. But it's something. It's not bad. I would play Akuma in Mortal Kombat.
I don't think I would.
See?
I don't know if I could, man.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I hate him in Tekken. I really can't stand Akuma in Tekken. I think he'd be a little more appropriate for Mortal Kombat, but I would say Ryu, but I don't think Ono's going to let anyone rip Ryu's head off. I think Ono's okay with ripping Akuma's head off, though. I think he can get behind that.
What about Ken? Can we do Ken?
Dude, only if his shitty face returns to the game with a banana hair.
If Ken was in Mortal Kombat 11, I would be super, super, super hype. If they did the fucking weird Cobra shit, but not with Cobra, with Ken, that'd be sick. That'd be really cool.
I actually like Cobra. I actually wouldn't mind seeing Cobra back.
Yes, I don't dislike Cobra. Cobra's cool. Just like, but this time actually go all the way with and do Ken. just do Ken. You can give him his Under Armour shirt. That's cool. Let him have flame kicks. I don't think we have any characters that do a lot of flame kicks. Let's do it.
Tanya, right?
What?
No,
Tanya? Who is Tanya? What are you talking? She does sparkles.
I can't remember, but you're probably right. It's been a while.
Liu Kang just does flame punchy things and fireballs.
He has some fire in that foot. He's got the fire in the flying kick, I think.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not.
Well, okay. He definitely doesn't have as much as Ken has in Street Fighter V. He's got a lot of, like, he's got pyrotechnics and shit going in his super whenever he's doing those kicks and shit. It looks cool. It looks super cool. What do you think? You want to answer some questions?
Real quick, just going to talk a little bit about Soul Calibur.
Soul Calibur, yes.
There's not even much to talk about. Like, Zasalamel looks really good, and I'm super happy to see characters like that return. I think I know he was heavily requested, and he looks so good in the game. Ivy's cool. Ivy looks like Ivy. Ivy's looked the same for like what, 15 to 20 years. I mean,
If
since
it ain't
since the
broke,
Dreamcast, really, she's looked the same. She's been a thick G-MILF, and it's never really been different ever since. So yeah, Ivy's cool. Welcome back. Love the chain whip. Yeah, that covers Soul Calibur 6.
it does. I agree. I think that stuff looks good. I saw. I have to call him Zaz. Got to do it, and I can't say the other word. It's too hard.
It took me a couple of years.
But he looks cool. It looks good. Looks well executed. His voice actor was okay. It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't bad either. But his gameplay looks really cool. Really cool.
I just like hoods. I like hoods and sights. It's hard to mess that up, dude.
I'm in. That sounds like a 90s character.
It's not too far off. I think he was 2006, 2005, something like that.
He sounds fun. I'm in. That's all you need, man. That's more than some fucking a lot of fighting game characters have. Is that it? Is that all the soul burning questions?
Yeah,
or not questions.
Really, I mean, it's hard to get excited about Soul Calibur reveals because the characters have kind of looked the same forever. So it's just like, you're more glad that they're back than you are happy that. I don't care that she has a whip super move. I don't fucking give a shit. But everything else is cool. But yeah,
I'm just glad you're here. We're glad you're here, man.
I mean, it has yet to be seen if Sunmina's coming. If Sunmina's not coming back, I'm just not buying the game. Like, I would be super fucking crushed if she doesn't return. Like, that would be way worse than Lee May not being in K11. 1,000 times worse. Like I would call in from work. It would be real fucking ugly. So I'm super nervous about that character, and that if she's in the game, Soul Calibur 6 is my bread and butter for a very, very long time. Super active game. If she's not in the game, I mean, I'm not going to tell people not to buy it, just like I'm not going to tell people to buy Marvel Infinite, but I would just be really sad, and I'm not going to let Namco fuck me twice like they did with Soul Calibur 5. So that's my piece on that subject.
No, that sounds completely reasonable. I don't see any problems with any of that. Listen, put some... Yeah, Namco. I'm still kind of surprised that the game exists. I'm still a little like, every time it comes out, I was like, oh, I forgot. This is actually going to be a video game. That's cool.
It's coming out this year.
But that's not enough.
Doesn't have a fucking release date.
That's not enough, though. It's not enough that it exists. It needs to exist well, because Marvel Infinite exists. Damn it. And that's not enough.
I mean, Ares had mostly good things to say about it. I saw his breakdown of it, so...
He did, yeah, I heard that. That's and it's promising. Hope that is accurate. I mean, he should know. He's a fucking giant Soul Calibur fan.
Yeah, and I mean, if he likes it, that's a very good sign for things to come. But God, it scares the shit out of me. The game does not have a release date yet, because I don't want to fucking wait till early 2017 to play Soul Calibur 6. I think that would be kind of fucked up. So.
But
that's a horrible position to be in. I really don't like the fact that the game coming out this year does not have a release date yet. It makes me super nervous. I don't like that at all.
That's a catch-22 though, because you can't be like, fucking just put it out, because don't do that if it's not ready for it. I don't know.
I mean, if they have to edit some lines out of the story mode narrator, do it. I don't really have a problem. The game's been in development for 3 years. They said it wasn't made for the Switch because the Switch didn't exist yet when they started development. So we know it's been in the box for a pretty long time. And it's a Namco game. Half the assets are going to be imported. They're not redoing a lot of those animations, so what could be taking so long? It's
don't
not
talk about the Switch alongside the development for that game. Come on, guys. That's not doing you any favors. Well, I mean, it is if you own a Switch and that's it, but, let's not talk about the Switch.
Questions.
Man, okay. What is going on in this question? Okay, look, this is a really old one.
Okay, cool.
And it comes from occasional friend of the show, Evan. What the fuck was this? Oh, Django's thoughts on the supposed leaks. Temps too, but we never got Django's. I never heard yours. So, do you remember the leaks for Mortal Kombat 11 and what that was about?
I remember vaguely that there was a roster leak and there was some shit about Onaga.
Right, yes, the leaked roster, which I happen to have right here because I was a good host like a month ago, and I still have it. I'm glad. This was Kano, Lime, Noob Saibot, Bo Raicho, Johnny Cage, Shang Tsung, Jade, Dagon, if you want to say it like that. That's cool. Cassie Cage, Jackie Briggs, Frost, Kenshi, Kodokan, Jax, Onaga. And I guess leaving off the, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Raiden. Those sorts of things.
I feel like my response to this is fairly simple. And when I first heard about this, my reaction was just, well, it could be way worse. That's not, if that's what happens, that is by no means the worst case scenario. I get a lot of shit that I want. It's not my ideal setting. Every time I hear Kano, I can't help but to feel a little disappointed. But at the same time, like, there's a lot of good shit in that list. Frost, Natara, Lee May, Jade. I've been waiting for those characters for a while. So.
Natara is not in my list. So you could be right. She could be in this list, or you could be
I might be
having like a weird
list.
Fantasy over there and just hearing Natara where there is none. Is that how you? Dude, don't.
I've been blown up so many times for saying it wrong. Razor posted the list like 6 months ago, something hell of a long time ago. And I could swear Natara was in that list, but I could be wrong.
You're probably right. I could see her being in this mix.
If she's not, though, there's still a lot of good stuff in there. Lee May and Frost are super cool, and I've wanted Jade back for a very long time. So
there's no Devora on this list.
Oh, thank heavens! Oh my gosh, I fucking hate the character.
I like Devora. I'm kind of sad that she's not on this list. That I actually don't have a lot of feelings about this list because I don't. I'm not gonna be like, oh, this probably doesn't exist because NRS have leaked everything.
Okay, dude, quick rant. This has nothing to do with anything.
Okay.
But I just saw Black Panther like today.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a good movie, and the villain's good. I like the villain a lot until he took off his shirt, and he has all those bumps on his body, and I'm just like screaming inside. I couldn't fucking do it. Like I know they're supposed to be quote scars, but they look like fucking boils to me. It's just, I just want to pop that shit. It's just, oh my god, I was dying.
God. It's what? Wow. Okay.
So spoilers, yeah.
Well, no, that's in the trailer. He's topless in the trailer. Couple trailers.
Oh, well, I actually don't remember the trailer very well, but the movie's good. I'd like the movie. Go see Black Panther.
Yeah, no, Black Panther was good. It's not a controversial opinion, I think. Black Panther was pretty good. I didn't like the final fight because I couldn't tell the cat guys apart. Both like two CG cat panther guys in black costumes, and it's like I don't know which one is the good one.
Interesting. I thought they did a good job with because I was just looking for the yellow and the purple. That's how I was doing it.
Well, I mean that's all you really can look for, like because otherwise they're both just Black Panthers. It is. I feel like it is one of the more, and it has to be like. Look, I get it, it's not really a complaint, really, but it is another one of like those Marvel tropes of like, the hero fights the the evil version of the hero at the end of the movie, like your Ironmongers and the stuff like that from Iron Man or Captain America fighting so many super soldiers in his movies. There's just a lot, including Red Skull. Black Panther, like I liked Killmonger. Fine, he was cool. But right there at the end, I'm like, this is like one of the most egregious ones. Is I literally can't even tell them apart. It's okay. It's cool. It's fine. I get it. You got to wear that costume if you're the king of Wakanda and shit.
Yeah, and good fun. I liked it a lot better than. Well, I gotta be careful what I say because it's gonna turn into like a Marvel cast. But I did like it a lot better than Thor Ragnarok. I was one of the few dudes who was not super into the Ragnarok. So yeah, I think it was a really good rebound from that one. But I'll make my peace there.
What are you afraid of over there? What's freaking you out?
I just don't want to piss anyone off, man. I'm just trying to make sure everyone knows that I have positive thoughts about things too.
It's okay. I really liked Ragnarok, but I'm a fanboy. I'm a Thor fanboy, so kind of hard for that one. And if you're a Thor fanboy, especially coming off of like the Dark World, it's like, oh, okay, we're doing good. We're doing better, much better. I like this shit. I missed the hammer, but we're still doing a lot better. Fucking Odin's not at the top of the movie being like, we're not gods. It's like, what the fuck is this movie? Dark World, get out of here. That's not the thing Odin would ever say.
Dark World is pretty shit.
But you know, it's just funny, like going like right at the beginning of Dark World, he says that shit to Loki. We're not gods, and Ragnarok, it's like, dude, I've got gods coming out of my ass. You had a sister god before you were even born. She was the god of death. Just says it straight up. You're not the god of fucking hammers. This guy over here is the god of whatever. Like, everyone's a god, and they're cool with it. It's not a big deal. That's the way it should be. Come on, man.
You know, I visited my mom the other day, and Thor Dark World was on it. As much as I don't like that movie, I was just watching it. I was actually kind of digging it. I was like, this isn't as bad as I remember. I was having a good time.
That's the thing to remember, though. It is a Marvel movie, and it's never going to hit you quite as hard as, like, you know, a Justice League, where it's like, man, come on, guys, what were you guys doing over there? Like even if nothing else, you can get the occasional chuckle whenever something happens of some stupid joke. I don't know. Dark World probably had something to enjoy, maybe.
Yeah,
Or at the very least, like, it didn't, like, morally bankrupt you at the end, where it's like, this was the Justice League movie. This was the Justice League movie.
I mean, I was kind of okay with the Justice League movie too, you know? I was like, oh,
the one and only Justice League movie. Like, this is the one we've waited for. Why is this guy Steppenwolf in your boxes? Like, he's doing the same shit that Loki did. They both have horns and cool spears, and they both are into cubes. Except Loki is, I don't know, he's a personality. He's kind of he's more fun from a character standpoint.
Yeah, he's a good time.
Boy. Okay, well, listen, whatever. Okay, yeah, Black Panther was good. I like Black Panther.
But as for the leaks, that was my overall reaction. I mean, even if Natara's not on the list, I still think it could be way worse. I would like to see a lot of old 3D era characters return. And this is a pleasant halfway point. If this is as bad as it gets, I am okay. That's my overall opinion.
This is going to be a hot button topic going into MK11. I can feel, because I'm one of those people that's like, I don't really want to even think about the 3D era games that much. I didn't enjoy them from a gameplay standpoint, from a lore standpoint, from a visual standpoint. I don't know. There was a disconnect somewhere, and it felt like a different thing than what I was used to liking about Mortal Kombat. That doesn't mean that it's like, I'm gonna be pissed about any of that shit being in there. I like Boraicho, he's cool. Kenshi, obviously. There's shit I like. Li Mei's not bad. Naga, I have giant problems with, and me and Razor have gone around about it. And I'm sure that we'll fucking have it out again at WrestleMania next year. Like, it's just never going to end. It's going to be the ongoing shit. I'm not a fan.
I'm glad we don't all feel the same way. I think it's going to be fun if Onaga is or isn't in the game to see you and Razor do your thing. I think that's the fun of the Netherkast, is just the fact that we don't all want the same shit. I love it, you know?
I think, I do think that Onaga will have some kind of presence. I hope that he's not just this fucking stupid-looking Bowser motherfucker. Like, I don't want Bowser in my Mortal Kombat games. I don't want this stupid-looking dude in my Mortal Kombat games. He's... I don't know what his character is, his personality. We were talking about this the other day. Fucking Razor's gonna blow me up. He's typing right now on YouTube. I can hear it. It's not even up yet. But Shao Kahn was talking so much shit while he was taking my money in the arcades. Like, he was like a professional wrestling heel. Like it was entertaining to hate that guy. Like, there's a back and forth. There's a thing there with Onaga. It's like, this dude looks like just a shitty Bowser. But he has no character. He's generic.
I mean, if someone says, Tim, do you want to see shitty Bowser? I kind of want to see that, to be honest with you. That sounds kind of tight.
I've heard against that. I've heard that this is a way people can feel. And, you know, if people feel that way, that's cool.
I have a prediction. I think, one way or another, I think you will like what you see. Because in the 3D era, I know you're not the biggest fan, but before we found out that the random Asian was Li Mei, I remember you were saying, I like this Asian. Something about this Asian, it works. And then we found out it was Li Mei. So I think maybe they can spin Onaga in a way that works for yourself. I don't know.
What is...
Good times.
I don't know what that means. Are you like... So maybe if they make Onaga, like, visibly Asian, they might get you in the bag.
I think it's a concept they could tailor to make it work better than it did, that you can get on board with. Because I know you like Bowser. I like Bowser. Let's make this work.
I like Bowser because of, he's simple enough for, like, Mario. Like, he works in that thing, whatever. This giant, like, weird-looking King Kaiju with a samurai hat just waddling out. He looks kind of fat. No, it's like, and he's like, what? I'm a big fucking deal. And it's like, I've never heard of you in my life. Who the fuck are you? You're another dragon-themed motherfucker. We got 1 billion of you guys. Like, what's the fucking deal? He's like, I don't know, but I was a big deal back in the day, so I'm at the top of the tower now. He's not, but all that being said,
let me put it this way.
he will be cooler if he shows up. Like, there's no question there. Because everybody they redesign now is, like, looks better. Like, the whole deal is, it's worked out better. There's more budget. There's all this shit now. Like, fucking, I don't know, fucking anybody. They all fucking look better after they've had, like, the resources that NRS has now, like that polish. He's not gonna look like a big fucking fat, weird, generic 3D model that doesn't even look like a good 3D model. He's not gonna look like that. He'll look better. But I hope he looks better enough.
I'm excited about a character, because if he's back, he has to be playable. He just has to be. So if he's playable, I'm looking forward to seeing a character who's big enough where they break the rules of the screen, kind of like Idol or Aghanos and KI. That sounds exciting to me. That's something I could really be interested in. I would want to play a character like that. I think the larger-than-life character that kind of trumps all the other select screen options, that sounds sick to me. I agree that in execution, he definitely needs some work. I do like the Dragon King a lot, but more so on paper than in the game. We'll see, though. I'm fairly neutral on bringing him back or not. As I said before in the Netherkast, the only 2 things I really care about is what does the select screen look like, and does everybody look okay? That's all I really care about.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that is arguably, like, the most important thing to any fighting game, which I agree. Yes. Like, characters gotta look cool. If you're browsing around the select screen and there's not a bunch of fucking cool-looking characters that you would just play based on their looks, the game is fucked up.
And they were listening, too. Like, when I was talking shit about MKX, where the select screen looked like everybody's fucking driver's license photo, like, they fixed that. They look better in Injustice 2. Thank you, Ed Boon. Thank you, Paulo. Anyone who does select screen modeling, it worked. They looked a lot better in Injustice. A lot better. And
it was fun seeing all the fucking cheap shots that everyone was taking at each other. It's still one of my favorite parts of the whole Injustice 2 experience. Was the first time that I saw that, like, gameplay in action, and I was not expecting it, and Batman just fucking punched the shit out of Supergirl. And I was like, whoa! What the, like, I was just not expecting to see that coming. Batman's gonna sucker punch Supergirl. But then, you see it's like, okay, this is the whole deal with everyone. But it was hype the first time I saw it. It was pretty cool.
Dude, I remember Supergirl Aquaman, the first time I saw that back in, like, June of whatever, 2016, and Supergirl just blows some air in his face, and, like, oh, that's cute, and Aquaman looks all pissed and stabs her in the fucking stomach. I'm like, holy shit, that is a fucking extreme unnecessary reaction. That is insane, but
There's a lot of that, like, fucking Robin's the same way, but he is defined by unnecessary action. It's like he has no between 0 to 60, so immediately you're getting the sword, which means you're probably gonna die. I really like the Ninja Turtles, though, because it's kind of broken right now. They'll go to do the initial hit, like the other guy to the Ninja Turtle, and you'll hear, like, the punch sound effect of it connecting, but they'll do the turtle duck and their head will, like, go in their shell. It's like there's no hit. Like, the turtles don't even get hit, and then, they pop back up and do the other hit. It's like, even in the select screen, these guys are kind of cheap right now. It's okay, though. It's cool. No, Onaga will look cool if they do him again. I'm not super excited about going back down that, like, storyline path, because that path leads to Armageddon, and it's just a fucking... It's like the worst not fun Royal Rumble ever. Royal Rumble has a lot of potential sometimes, but sometimes it's just, like it is nowadays. It's not, you don't want to watch it. It's like, ugh. I don't want to watch Armageddon happen again. I'd rather see some shit happen with, like political thriller, espionage shit with some Order Realm and whatever, like, the uprising that was going on in Outworld with Kotal Khan, all those guys. Give me some kind of, like, type of shit like that from the other realms, and it just mix that way. Don't build straight to the end of all things. Let's not go quite there just yet. I think that's one of my favorite things about the reboot is the space between the end of all things and the tournaments. Like, I really liked seeing the Outworld shit with Kotal in the last game. There's stories you can do that don't involve the end of the world, the universe, the fucking, Zero to Infinity War. Like, let's go there. Whatever. Listen, okay, Razor will explain to you why I'm wrong. He could be right. I don't know.
Well, I mean, they set up something cool, but they fucked it up at the same time because Devora's gone. She defected. Fucking Shang Tsung drank up Ermac like Gatorade, so he's fucking gone now. And who's left? Ferritor? Ferritor's gonna turn into like a fucking like big person in like Tor's gonna die and Farrah's gonna be huge. So that's out of the nothing's gonna his whole team is fucking like gone and Reptile's gonna do whatever the fuck Khan does.
Well, Aaron Black's still there.
Khan's not gonna be in the game probably, but if he is, yeah. Aaron, does anyone want to trust Aaron Black with the fucking task of running the tournament? Like, I don't know about that.
No,
I don't know if that's a
not.
character. So,
but it's still like, it's really weird. Even with the wonky writing that was in the actual video game, I like looking at that group. That still looks like a tight group. Fucking Kotal Khan, Aaron Black, and yeah, with Devora. And if Shang does try to eat Ermac, I don't think that's going to go very well for Shang Tsung. That's going to be a weird fucking... Boy, I don't know what's going to come out of that shit.
I mean, obviously it's an ending. We can never know if that's actually going to happen or not, but part of me thinks it will, just because I think they are trying to make room. I think Ermac kind of got his spotlight for this game, and I think they're ready to kind of move him aside for someone else. And I feel like Shang Tsung is a lock for MK11 just because he's such a popular old-school character. So I feel like the whole set has been made together so that Ermac can leave and Shang can enter. I feel like the stars are kind of lining up that way.
It's possible. I feel like Ermac is just like a big standard. Like, I think Ermac has replaced Reptile these days as like the third most popular ninja. Since his like reimagining, since like Deception, and how they've had him in every game since then, and he gets a lot of play.
Well, I'll go out on a limb here. I don't think either of those two are the third favorite ninja. I still think Noobsebot firmly holds that spot.
I mean, I wish that he was in more games. Same with fucking Smoke, but for whatever reason...
Smoke, I think, is actually probably more popular than both those guys, too. It's hard. I think those three are very neck and neck. So, I don't know.
I've never seen anyone be like, why is Smoke in this video game? Like, no one ever talks shit about Smoke. It's always like, where's Smoke? Why isn't Smoke here? Give me more Smoke. Oh, Smoke's in this game? Smoke. I miss that dude, man. He needs to be used way more.
Like Arturo or Thomas Vibrata?
Both of them.
All the above.
Yes.
You know what? I agree. I absolutely agree.
Man, if Shang Tsung tries to eat Ermac, like, I don't think that's gonna just be with... That's not gonna go well for Shang Tsung, man. I feel like he's gonna get some overload, and there's gonna be some weird new character that comes out of that. Fucking Shang Ermac or something weird. Shang Mac. That sounds like a McDonald's food. Huh? Could be okay.
Do you want to hear something funny, dude? Or at least funny to me. No one else might give a shit. But EventHubs.com did a little editorial piece, a little tribute to Arturo Sanchez, right? Mm-hmm. But for the piece, they didn't take a photograph of him or do any explore special visual. They just took a random ass still of him and made it black and white, so everyone saw the article and thought he was dead. So I thought it was funny. The comments fucking blew up though. It was hilarious.
Is it? Oh man.
We should probably answer some other questions.
You're right.
I'm having a lot of fun, though. This is good shit. I don't get to talk about ninjas very often, yeah?
No, PSA. Arturo is still alive and out there kicking. It's a good thing. That's a good bit of knowledge to spread, awareness to spread. All I can remember about pictures with Arturo was that picture of him and the fucking cheese fries. That was everywhere.
Maybe, I wonder if that was the picture? I don't know.
If they got that picture and made it black and white, I mean... that might be the coolest, moratorium picture.
Okay, I'm linking this shit. Oh, gosh, this makes you laugh. It just looks like he's dead. It looks like they did a fucking obituary for him. It's so fucking funny. But anyway.
Oh, yep. See? They knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
It does look like they were dead. I don't know how you could think that there was any other way that would be interpreted. For the TLDR in all of us who's not going to read, they're just going to see the picture.
Oh man, that is great stuff. That Arturo is just a fantastic part. I associate him so much with MK9, so I have a lot of fun, positive thoughts about Arturo Sanchez. Such an awesome dude. I wish
he's not dead.
Super not dead. He's not dead in all the best ways.
Despite what this photo tells you directly, it says it in plain English that he is dead. He's not dead. He is alive and out there. Okay, you were... that was your feelings about the leaked roster. My feelings about the leaked roster is that it is missing a good amount of Smoke and Takeda. It needs to fix that. And maybe...
Oh, that's true. Smoke isn't on there, is he? Wow.
Nope.
That would be a big, big disappointment if Smoke's on to the next one. I didn't even think about that.
But...
That would fucking hurt, dude.
It would.
All we have is fucking Triborg? Fuck that. Oh, man. That would be fucking... And when in MKX, that is. I know Triborg's not on that list, but... Oh, man. Just from a gameplay perspective, Smoke is just too fucking important. There's no character that plays like that, so... Oh,
and,
God.
Like, the Triborg version of Smoke, like, isn't even Smoke anymore. Like, he has nothing to do with cyborgs. He's fucking out there as a demon somewhere, being a demon. Which means we also need a fucking cyborg on this list. There's not one there. It's fucked up.
That would be so weird to make that mistake twice, but I'm getting depressed. I don't know if I like this list anymore.
I think there's going to be a cyborg. I'm going to be optimistic and just like too. Reasonable. I think there's going to be a fucking cyborg in the game. I don't think they would do that again. Come on, man. Cyborgs. We got to have one. What is an actual question? Let's find one of those. There's been some really good ones that I've seen, but I've scrolled past... Wait. Okay, well, listen, you can say this one. Like, how would you feel if Back to Block happened in MK11?
I would be really, really upset if Back to Block happened in MK11. You'd have to redesign the whole system of specials, like, from the ground up. I got in a huge fucking argument, speaking of event hubs, I got in a massive argument about Back to Block on event hubs because people just don't understand Mortal Kombat specials are built around the block button. And some people were saying, no, dude, like, you can react to that shit. I'm like, no, you literally can't. Like, it's not possible. People were like, dude, people do that shit all the time in Marvel. No, they don't. They're making reads. People don't react to... Nightwolf has a fucking 10-frame shoulder charge, okay? The fastest anyone can react is 16 frames. That is the fastest. Anything faster than that is a read, or you're a prodigy at that point. So if you had to press Back to Block, you'll get blown up by Nightwolf all day the moment you try to play footsies. You'll literally just be crouch like ducking the whole time. The whole fucking time. You won't be able to play the game. Not to mention cross-ups, like trying to block Melina's bullshit at all times. Like, even if that is technically reactable, I think she has 17 frames startup on her teleport kick, maybe longer than that. It's not easy. You have to be on point. I mean, I see a lot of Tekken players. The fastest move in Tekken is 10 frames. So, like, a lot of lows, because, they're used for setups, they're used for basically small damage, they're 23 frames, or 17 frames, or 30 frames. I see high-level Tekken players all the time get hit by that shit. So no one's going to fucking tell me you're going to block these 10-frame specials. Get the fuck out of my house. You're so full of shit. Yeah, dude, I think people who say they want Back to Block for Mortal Kombat, they either don't understand fighting games, or they want to be Mortal Kombat. They want Mortal Kombat to be overhauled in a way that's so drastic it's not even Mortal Kombat anymore. Now you have fucking Street Fighter specials. You no longer have quick teleport kicks. You no longer have shoulder charges. You no longer have slides. None of that shit's viable anymore. Because now you actually have to react. If you want to play footsies, you have to react to specials, and you just can't do that with Mortal Kombat. It's not possible. So either people are dumb or they have an agenda. There's no good way to put fucking Back to Block in Mortal Kombat. The end. That's how I feel about that. Although I don't know if the writer of that question wants Back to Block for Mortal Kombat. If he does, I respect your opinion. Thank you for contributing. Good question. Good question to Evan. I mean, it's a good question regardless. I feel like I just feel like there's a lot of people who don't want Mortal Kombat to be. They want to be more like Street Fighter V, and not that Street Fighter V is a bad game, but Street Fighter V is Street Fighter V. I don't want Mortal Kombat to feel that way.
I like the.
Good question.
I like the idea of saying "Good question, Evan" after every question, whether it came from him or not.
Did I say good question, Evan?
Thanks, Evan. You did. And I don't. I
Did I
actually
say
don't.
it for the right question?
I don't know. I don't know who
Well, I
asked
mean,
the.
good question to the. What was the name of the person who asked the back to block question?
Man, I don't know. I'm trying to find it.
Well, Evan did ask a good question, so it is a true statement
He did. He
nonetheless.
asked the one that got us to talking about Onaga. So,
But they're
fuck
both really
that
good
question.
questions.
I hate Onaga. Get out of here.
Evan's question's a good question because it kind of defines the future of this show. It's going to have a huge effect on what happens to us in the
It
next
will.
coming 18 months. The back to block is a good question because it that question definitely defines our relationship to other communities because a lot of people do feel that way. And people I respect feel that way, and I wish they didn't. I'm not going to mention any names, but there's a player who I really respect from TYM who does want back, or at least did want back to block. That person may have changed their opinion since, but as of like a year and a half ago, they did want back to block, and I asked them why the fuck do you want back to block, and they said so we can have cross ups. And like Mortal Kombat doesn't have enough fucking mix-ups already. Now you want cross-ups? Oh, the 50-50s weren't enough. The mid-screen slide wasn't enough. Now you want more guessing games. I'm sorry, I don't think that's good for the game by any means. So that's how I feel about that. Still a
Raiden
really
is getting pissed off over here. I don't know if you guys can hear this awesome weather.
yeah, that sounds sick. Actually, I wish we got more. Well, it's raining right now, but our lightning sucks here. We don't have good lightning, so
We never have fucking anything here. Like, but the past few days, like, Thor's been pissy, and it never happens. But it's just been storms like crazy. I don't know what's going on. Listen, Raiden, you weren't on that leaked list because we know you're in the game. Like, don't freak out. It's gonna be fine. That was Randy Cool 27 with the back to block question.
good shit, dude. Thanks for the question.
It was a good
It's
one.
a super important question.
It is a very important question. And I wrote an answer forever ago because that was like back at the beginning of this month. But I'll say it again real quick. It is a great question. It's an easy question. It's never going to happen in a Mortal Kombat numbered entry to the series. If there's never not going to be a back to block, they're never going to switch to back to block. I mean, there's never going to be a block button, not be a block button. Always going to be a block button. Let me word that more confusingly. There's always going to be a block button. There's not going to be a back to block thing.
I think they did toy with the idea of back to block for MK9, but that was many years ago, and thank God they didn't go that route. Oh my gosh.
It's just not it's not going to be a thing. Believe me, it's not going to happen. For a billion reasons, it's not going to be a thing in Mortal Kombat because Mortal Kombat is actually Mortal Kombat. It's not Street Fighter. It's not those other games. It's differences aren't things that can be flippant about. They're pretty important to the whole design structure of the game, and the guys at NRS know this. They've talked about this, including Ed. It's not gonna switch.
That's right. Ed Boon did give a Twitter response to this question saying, I think it was something along the lines of, did you guys seriously think Mortal Kombat wouldn't have a block button? That was for MKX when they first announced it, so I think we're safe. I don't think we'll ever have anything to worry about.
But I mean, like, it would be scary if it was something that they were like, I mean, yeah, maybe we could just switch it over for one game. Like, no, that's not easy. That's not something that you just do. That's not a casual decision or a fun gameplay tweak for one game, like maybe variations even are. Like, that is fundamental fighting game design, core as core shit can be. It's not something that could be toggleable, anything like that. No. This is like I said, there's no other way to say it.
You literally have to rebuild the game.
Yes, it is the most fundamental of fundamental things in a video game, in a fighting game.
There's actually a really high-profile player who I was talking to, 4 years ago now, 5 years ago. He's a big part of the KI community. I'm not going to name drop him partially because I'm about to seriously disagree with him. But he was saying that is the problem with Mortal Kombat. He wants back to block. And I have a lot of respect for the dude, but he's just fucking wrong about this. It won't work. You're going to break the characters. I don't know where the question asker, Randy, I don't know where he stands on this, but if he has a different opinion, though, I'd like to see where he stands, though. It is one of my favorite topics. The block button is, I think, a super important topic, and we don't really talk about it as much, I think, as we should on the Netherkast, just because we just take it for granted. No one's ever worried that block button is going to go away, so I think we forget that there's other communities who don't like this element. Ooh, I like that question. That's a really good question. Do you want me to go first? Or you want to go first? Yes, you want to go first, or yes, you want me to go first? Oh no, Well, this question kind of touches on, I think, esports in general. With fighting games, if you're going to watch like a fighting game tournament, let's say you watch Final Round in Atlanta, if you don't know the move properties or the frames, or not so much the frames, but just what's that advantage, what's disadvantage, it's really hard to tell what's going on or how good the player is. It's not like football, where with football, you just have to know who has the ball and which side the other team is trying to make it to. If you know that much, you can really enjoy a football game. Same thing with baseball. It doesn't really matter if you know the minutia or not. You just have to know if he hits the ball center field, it's a good thing. And if the other team doesn't catch that ball, it's an even better thing. Fighting games don't work like that. If you don't understand the mechanics, and especially if you're just not even familiar with like the basics of fighting games, it's impossible to watch casually. You really kind of have to understand these games from the inside to enjoy watching from a spectator's point of view. I should say. So yeah, I don't think fighting game esports are going to really ever take off. I think they'll keep growing. I think they're in a healthy spot right now, and I think it will continue to get bigger. But I think that's true because the player base is continuing to get bigger. I think people are getting better at fighting games. I don't necessarily think that means that the ESPN shit is working. I feel like eventually we are going to hit ceiling, and I mean we're always going to be where we are but bigger. I don't think we're ever going to hit a plateau beyond this, just because I just don't think like Bob in fucking North Dakota is going to be able to turn on ESPN and understand what our Meek is doing. These games are so hard just to play these games. You have to know so much shit, and even if he's interested, even if he's like, hey, this looks cool, you have to know the storylines. Taquito beat Punk at EVO 2017. That was a big fucking deal because Punk was dominating. Punk was fucking everyone up. And like, if people who were doubting Punk, he made it to winners finals. And he had to fucking knock the shit out of Kazunoko. Capcom Cup Kazunoko, the winner of Capcom Cup, had to get bodied before he could proceed to winners finals. And he made it look easy. Like, if you don't know those storylines, it's really hard to tune into this shit, And I think we're just asking too much of the audience. It's not like StarCraft or League, where you can watch like a good 15 minutes and kind of get a general understanding of what's going on, and then pick up the storylines later. No, Street Fighter's just not like that. I think a lot of technical knowledge is involved. I think a lot of historical knowledge is involved to really get the most out of a fighting game tournament. And that concludes my answer. But super good question. I like that question a lot.
It is. So you're saying like it's easier for people to casually tune into like Overwatch and get into it. That's easier than just to like casually jump into a fighting game tournament and enjoy that.
No, I think so. I also think that the visuals of a shooter are just a lot more intuitive. Like, you can tell if someone's camping. You don't need to know frame data if someone's camping. You can tell if someone gets a double kill, triple kill. Like, it's very visually intuitive. Like, you have no fucking idea that fucking Smoke's back two is like negative whatever. You don't know that. Like, there's no way you can know that. You can't know that fucking Sub-Zero's Cryomaster's back 3 is negative. Like, there's no way to know that. Plus frames, negative frames look the same when they're short enough, so.
It's true. Like, fighting games, especially if you're, like, familiar with them, even, like, remotely, it's easy to take them for granted, I think, how unintuitive they are, how difficult, like, or not difficult, but, like, complicated they are compared to almost any other game genre that exists. It's just fucking so much more shit goes into a fighting game than anything else, and if... It's really interesting, because fighting games wouldn't have come about if, like, the history of video games development hadn't been exactly the way that it was. Like, shooters still would have come about. Like, third-person action games, like, whatever, still would have came about. Like, you can fucking check out some Dark Souls and be like, I mean, this is, like, a cool extension of something from tabletop, like D&D or whatever. Like, you kind of get it. Fighting games? What? Like, back to block overheads and the frame data and, whatever, this fucking shit that goes into fighting games. There's so many conventions and things that are there because they've been there that we don't want to change because we like them, but if you're jumping in now, it's like, what the fuck is going on here? What do you guys even, whatever? And it's hard to get into. That's what the thing does. It creates that barrier, which is, like you said, it's harder than it is to, like, jump into something like an Overwatch and just watch it as a spectator and be like, oh, that guy shot that guy, he is dead. I get it. Cool. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see the way that fighting games continue forward parallel to like actual esports fucking shit, like the big behemoth bullshits of esports. Like, I don't know, man. Fighting games is interesting. I hope it can keep its head above water for a while longer. But it's tough.
I also don't think we'll ever have the player base the size of League of Legends or the size of StarCraft. I don't think there's enough money on the outside willing to come in. It's gotten better with Echo Fox. Like, there's a lot of like retired sports stars who are seeing fighting games. They want to throw in their dollar to help it out, but we just don't have the same outside sponsorship. You know, like League of Legends, like they got all that Mountain Dew money. We got some of it. We got the Red Bull money coming in, but like I said though, that's gonna hit the ceiling once they realize they're not gonna pull the. What's up?
We got some cup noodle money. I like that fucking sponsor.
Dude, that was tied for Evo Japan. That was the sickest shit.
See, sometimes there's good ideas. We need more of those. More good ideas. That was a good question. Who asked that question?
Oh, Snake Eyes. Yeah. Good question,
Snake Eyes. Well done, Snake Eyes. What is this one? AC3S777 asks, would anyone else like to see a story arc in Chaos Realm or Order Realm? Yeah. I said that a second ago. I brought those up. Like, yeah, that's what I want to see. I would much rather see that than let's all run at the fucking pyramid with, the big fat red Onaga on top.
Yeah, I would be for it too. I think. I mean, I'm actually okay with either of those if they're done right. But I've always been very interested in Order Realm. Like Chaos Realm, it's not that I'm not interested in Chaos Realm, but once you take Havoc out of the picture, I'm not nearly as invested. It's mostly Havoc who's holding up that idea. Order Realm, though, I think Order Realm is very interesting. I think you could base a whole game around Order Realm. I've always said that I'd love to see like one of the smaller characters kind of rise into the villain role. Sector was always my choice. I was like, let the Tekkanen really grow into something cool and make him a villain. So, like, if Sector took over the Order Realm, that would be fucking tight. Wotaro has to do whatever Sector says. It's fucking sick.
It's interesting, and yeah, for both of those, like Chaos Realm, like give it a little bit of that, a little bit of that flavor of MKX, where you dive a little bit into the politics of the realm and the cultures and whatever, and MKX just barely like dipped into that stuff with Kodokan, and then Melina wanting her shit, and Kodokan being like, you crazy bitch, no. Like, do that with the other stuff, and try to establish some of this other shit, like your Devoras, who's has some shit feelings about Outworld, and all these other people. Do that. Like, you don't have to go right for stuff like, I mean, you can, and it works. Like you said, like, I would like to see some Takunin shit, too, if they do something cool. Not if they do something like, and then they took over Japan, and they took over the world, and they took over, like, the whatever. It's harder to come up with an interesting thing for, like, a bad force to do than to take over something else.
I think it'd be cool if, like, the Order Realm fell into the wrong hands. Like, fucking, that'd be cool. Like, fucking Sector takes over the Order Realm, and Noob Saibot takes over the Chaos Realm, and then, like, Earthrealm gets caught in the war. Like, that would be tight. Like, Razor, thoughts? Post in the comments what you think.
He's typing, man. He's working on it. Noob doing... He needs to take over something already, because he's been, like, after that shit for a while. Like, just take over the Netherrealm. Noob is buff. Noob is hella buff. I know the Netherrealm has fucking Liu Kang and whatnot down there, but I don't know, man. I think Noob could fucking kick Liu Kang's fiery asshole. But I don't know. Let's see it. Let's make it happen. Fucking plan that pay-per-view right now. Sign the match. That sounds interesting.
I'd be down for that. That'd be cool. I mean, I think there's a lot of... That's just one angle. There's a lot of cool ways you can do it. I like the idea of Havoc as, like, one of the protagonists, since you can really go either direction. Hotaru cannot. Hotaru is intrinsically evil. People try to make the argument, Hotaru. Hotaru is not intrinsically evil, they say. It's a cultural difference. So I'm like, no, any society that suffocates basic human rights is not good. That's not a cultural difference. That's evil. You're thinking of evil there. Hotaru's not a good character. Liberty is important. Same thing with the Chaos Realm. I mean, you can't make Havoc intrinsically a good character, nor do I think anyone wants him to be, because, I mean, it's just any moral system, if you put it in the Order Realm, it's going to suffocate. any moral system in the Chaos Realm is going to get torn apart. So these are not your friends. But nonetheless, though, they can use them in interesting ways. You don't necessarily have to make Hotaru either. I like the idea of Johnny Cage going to the Order Realm back in the MK9 ending, because you could kind of do this buddy cop thing with Hotaru, where fucking like Johnny Cage is being a dick and Hotaru always has a migraine. Like, that sounds fun to me. I can get behind that. Whatever they do, I would just like to see. I'd like to see what it looks like when they do it. I think it's a very interesting setup.
That's important. The deal there with Hotaru. If you pair Hotaru with someone like Johnny Cage, then you get a story. You need more than one character, though. And that's how I feel about Chaos Realm. When you have one character as Havoc, who's like really the main, representative of that. Like, it doesn't really feel like a place. It doesn't feel like a world. It doesn't feel like a culture. If you fucking show me what a group of people in the Chaos Realm do. Like, what the fuck do people do? Not person. Like, people do in the Chaos Realm. How does that work? How does that function on a day-to-day basis? Like, then you got something to show me there. And the same with Hotaru. Like, those two, obviously, are like, fire and ice, no pun intended. You're not gonna fucking have any order over Johnny Cage. He kind of likes just being a troll. He is pretty chaotic himself, just just for the sake of it a lot of the times. Just to fucking screw with you and, keep his own distance through humor and jokes and whatever, and to keep your hooks out of him.
Oh yeah, there's that element for sure. Like, he would never do anything to help the enemy, but he may try to ride Tor for like a good 5 minutes. Like, I could see him being just kind of like a sort of dickish, not big. Yeah, well, yeah. Go on, you were saying.
No, yeah, but Hotaru, that's like not how shit happens in the Order Realm. Like, that's like not what you guys are into. You don't like that. So, like, you got drama there. You got sparks. You got interest stuff happening. If it's just Hotaru talking about, shit by himself in a bio or something, or with other people, it's not as. He just sounds like a fucking dickhead.
They would need to pair him with the right character to make him interesting. And I don't even really want to see Hotaru back unless they're going to make him. I don't just want to see him be like the next Devora, where he's like, oh, I'm a dick. Oh, no, I've been beaten. I really don't want to see that. Like, no. I'm fine with him being an asshole who doesn't understand basic ethics. That's fine, but do something cool with him. Like, give him something fun to do. Like, that's really the important thing to me.
And it's like that, as fun as that is and would be, and they should do that, I really want to see how that works in the Chaos Realm. I want to see how people can live out there.
Yeah,
and how a community could function with those sorts of, like, just inherent philosophical and religious beliefs like they have out there. Like, it's like, how do relationships work out there, man? Like, even just the basic shit. You guys, does that exist in any way? Like, I don't even know how that fucking works. But I would like to see it. I would hella like to see it.
Yeah, I'd like to know what happens when someone doesn't want to be in the Chaos Realm anymore. Can that even still happen? Are they intrinsically crazy? Like, I don't know if it's just fucking like, I guess like an undead in between. I don't know. I don't think it was ever fleshed out. And if it was, I think, I don't know. It's been so long since I played Deception. I have no idea what they did with that realm. But I don't know. It's cool. It's a good idea.
But they can do it now. They have. It's a much better option than, for me, running toward the fucking pyramid to fight giant fat Blaze. But that's me.
I'm okay with Fat Blaze. I think Fat Blaze is okay, but I have a feeling they won't do it either.
It sounds like such a stoner fucking like slide-in thing. Like, it's like innuendo, dude. Let's go find some Fat Blaze, man. It's okay.
Yeah, it does sound hardcore stonerish. I don't know. I like all three ideas, and I don't think they'll do any of them. I have a feeling they're probably not going to go anywhere near that territory. I don't think they're really interested in revisiting the realms. They don't seem to be, at least, but we'll see.
We'll see. They got to do something, man.
Good question, though.
Who asked that? That was AC. Yeah, that's who asked it. Awesome. That's a good question.
Appreciate
Randy
it,
Cool. Randy Cool asks again.
Okay.
Another gameplay question. He asked the back to block. MK9 dash block cancels. Bring them back. And how would you design Shang Tsung's gameplay if he came back? Two very different questions. I like dash block. Didn't seem like Paolo did. We'll see if he can find something in between. I think like most of us, we've talked about it, like dash block stuff. It was
Yeah,
fun.
it's the only unfortunate thing about dash block is that it's an either or. You have to have you have running or you have dash block. You can't really have both.
No, you can't.
Because if one takes up stamina and the other doesn't, you're just gonna fucking dash block. It's just that simple. And I think the run mechanic still has a lot of unfounded potential. When I first played MKX, I loved that game so much because the minute I figured out how to run, I was like, oh my god, I am so dangerous at so many different distances now. Like I can be at mid range, outside of mid range, or fucking sweep, and I have all this fucking offensive potential. So I'm just fucking running all over the place. I'm having a blast. And it wasn't until later in the game that I realized, like, oh, but once I run and get in and I get a down four in my frame advantage, my offensive options kind of suck, and that's when MKX kind of went down the shitter for me. So am I ready to get rid of run and go back to dash block? I would have a really good time. Like I think if they brought back dash block, I'd have a blast. The game would feel so good. We'd get mid range footsies back. But I actually think Paulo did like dash blocking. He thought they were probably a good mechanic. I just think Warner Brothers was like, hey, your game looks like shit, eSports, get rid of it. And that's why we don't have dash block anymore. I don't think the developers had anything against it in terms of function. I just think they're trying to make the game a little more aesthetically pleasing. And run button run input did the trick. So
That might be that. I mean, that aesthetic could definitely be a thing. I have no idea where at Warner Brothers someone would have that sort of thing, especially coming off of MK9 and then Injustice 1 and then into MKX. Like the Warner Brothers that I've had some experiences with, that's not they don't know what the fuck they're doing as far as like the hands-on type shit. They're like, did this make money? Okay, cool, do it again. Like that's really like about the extent of their whatever. And that's not going to be something that's across the board. It could, and I'm sure it's different with different projects, but like because that is such an aesthetic thing. Like I don't even know how that information would come down the ladder from Warner Brothers. Like, listen, this lady at fucking accounting financial didn't like the dash block, because that's really how most conversations go there.
HR doesn't like the dash block.
It is weird, but I mean the aesthetic thing is a thing that definitely could have come from somewhere. That's definitely legit, possibly. I don't know what it was. It was something. It was definitely something.
I think it was a very happy accident. I don't know if they ever intended the game to function the way it did, but once it did, I think everyone loved it just because he had such cool offensive options, and yeah, Ultra David was saying, the last episode, Ultra David was saying how much he missed the dash block. He wished that was back in Mortal Kombat. And, yeah.
But somebody didn't like it. Like, somebody was like, let's do something else. Unless it really, it wasn't. I'm sure there was a mix of different things. I always bring up that stupid thing about, like, Mortal Kombat 9 feels like a modern remake of Mortal Kombat 2. MKX feels like a modern remake of UMK3. If that was the case, then it could have just been that. Like, we want to do Run again and kind of bring that feeling of MK3 back with the run in, do your strings type fast gameplay. But if that's the case, it makes me really worried for Mortal Kombat 11, because I'm like, don't try to modernize the 3D games. But I don't know what that would even mean, especially now that you've already done variations. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we have too much to worry about, because Injustice 1 and Injustice 2 was such a vast improvement. They really did work on a lot of things that I wanted them to work on. So gameplay-wise, I'm fairly optimistic for MK11. I think there will be stagger pressure. I think there will be less 50-50s. I'm fairly confident with that.
I hope so. I would personally like, just like, it's not bad the way it is MKX. There's nothing wrong with the way it is MKX. I would like for the pace to be a little slower, a little less frantic. Because to me, I like that feeling MK9 had of, like I said, I prefer MK2 over UMK3, so it's the same thing. I feel like I'm more in control of where I am, what I'm doing in something like a Mortal Kombat 9. That doesn't mean that, like, you have to slow it back down to that extent, but something like a happy medium, somewhere in the middle, I think I would like. But I would still play the fuck out of something else, too. I enjoyed MKX. It was fun. Man, throwing out of the air was the best. I love that shit in MKX. I hope that never goes away.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with MKX back in the day. I mean, my opinion hasn't changed on the game overall, but I played some really good sets in that game. And running is always going to be fun. I still enjoy the run function. I just everything else, really, man. I miss Reptile. MKX Reptile is like the best Reptile's ever been I've ever had, like, with that character. That was so much fun.
And Sub-Zero was great in that game, too. Like, he was fucking great, Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
Injustice 2 Sub-Zero was a little better, but... Like,
philosophically better, at least. I mean, I liked execution with Sub-Zero and MKX, but I just hate how reliant he was on back two, and that kind of made the character stale. Dash blocking, and how would we design Shang?
Okay, you have to talk about Shang. I can't answer Shang.
I never played Shang, but I do have some ideas for him. The first thing I would do is I would keep the Skull Trap. That was awesome. Skull Trap is tight. I love pressure in general. Give me all the pressure options possible. So that's, I think, probably one of his most defining gameplay mechanics outside of the Soul Steel in the Rising Skulls. So keep that shit. The next thing I would do is just, let him do what he did in the other game, but let him do it better than everyone else. He was all about juggles in MK9. Let him be the best juggler. Let him keep you in the air for hours. I think that is a really fun character gimmick, in my opinion. I know a lot of people don't like it, and for everyone else, fine. I mean, for the most part, MKX did tone down the amount of juggling they did. It wasn't like, Cabal or Smoke where you were just juggled forever. But let Shane keep that, because Shane did it so well, and it looked so cool. He looked like a sorcerer at work, so keep that. And then finally, I don't remember if this was the case in MK9. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. But I think he could nullify or wake up with Soul Steel. So if he could do it in MK9, bring that back. If he could not do that in MK9, make him do that in K11. So when he fucking juggles you for an hour, he can finish out the juggle with a Soul Steel, so you have no wake-up options. But he doesn't have a Skull Trap anymore. He doesn't have endless skulls anymore. So I think that's a really fair trade-off. And I think that's a fun character dynamic. I think that would be really tight. Also, give him his little genie cap. That was sick.
Yeah. The cap's got to come back, man. I wasn't a big fan of the UMK3 John Turk Shang Tsung.
Really?
To me,
I don't like the colors.
I mean,
but yeah.
Well, I mean, the colors, like they brought the yellow back from MK2, but I don't know, that character of those three of the arcade games easily like looked the most different from game to game. I mean, the first game he was an old fucking dude, and then like whatever, like I get it, that makes sense. But of those three designs, just visually, I think I like the third one the least.
I love the third one a lot, honestly. My favorite Shang Tsung is alternate costume Deadly Alliance. It's the best he ever looked, in my opinion. But I love 3. 1's okay. 2, if you have the ponytail, it's not so bad. But I think 2 without the ponytail is kind of weird.
I'm trying to. With the cap, but with the ponytail.
Yeah, the cap. I think it needs a little more. It's almost there, but it needs some more.
I get on board with that. I gotta agree with that. Man, I'm trying to think about Shang. Man, I hated the way he looked in Deadly Alliance. His default.
Oh, it was a little too puffy. It looked like he had like a barrel chest.
But again, it was another thing where, like, coming off of UMK3, which he wasn't in MK4. Again, he just looked so fucking different. It's like, who is this character? He looks different in every fucking game. MK3, I got it because since John Turk was also playing Sub-Zero in that same game, they probably like, dude, put some face paint on him so you can't tell. That's probably what it was.
I like the Alice Cooper face paint. I thought it looked really good.
Listen, I'm fine with with that goth fucking face paint, and I'm actually glad that they kept it. Like, it became a thing. Like Reiko had it in MK4, and then Serena had it when we saw her popping up with some shit. I'm glad that it wasn't just ditched when the functionality wasn't needed anymore of this guy is playing two characters, let's do something weird to his face.
I do think that you're onto something with the Deadly Alliance costume. A lot of costumes in that game do feel a little over-designed. I think that's one of the heaviest offenders. Reiko looks over-designed, but I just feel like it works better. Also, he looks like Antoine from Deuce Bigalow Male Gigolo. I think I said that in previous episodes. I'm posting a picture now for reference, but yeah, that's what he looks like to me.
You know,
it's not bad.
You're not wrong. It's not bad. It's not bad at all.
Actually, hold that thought. Right. Keep talking. I'll be right back. I'm going to be back for like 45 seconds.
All right, go do it. I I'm not gonna laugh at this picture for 45 seconds. I could. I'm going to cancel into this next question though, because I've been looking at it. Any of the 3D era characters, if any of the 3D era characters come back, what 3 do you want the most, and how do you want them to play? Kenshi Master said it, and it's a good question, especially for me because I don't like the 3D era so famously. But I'm not a fucking, a shithead bigot. I can find some stuff that I like about the 3D era. Probably not unreasonable. And I'm looking at the Armageddon roster just to prove it. And I'm not happy that I'm doing it either. I'm having a monologue over here. It's going really well.
That's cool. Good.
I jump to the next question, which I will now repeat that you're here. Kenshi Master asked, if any of the 3D era characters come back, what 3 do you want the most, and how do you want them to play?
What 3 do I want the most, and what was after that?
What 3 do you want them the most, and how do you want them to play?
Fuck, that's a good question.
It's a big question. That's a big question.
Let me get rid of this picture of Antoine from Deuce Bigelow, Mel Gigolo, and find out.
I've pulled up the Armageddon select screen here, and I'm hurting to look at it. It's so ugly. I hate.
Are we including MK4, by the way?
I am going to have to. I've
so
already made that
in your list. Then that's settled.
He's definitely in my list.
God, that makes it so much harder for doing fucking MK4. Then that's a fucking game changer. Shit. Okay, well if you're doing it, then I obviously have to do it too. So let's see what we got.
I mean, listen, I probably wouldn't do it if there weren't so many characters in MK4 that just never get used, and obviously they're also 3D models. So I think it counts. I think it makes sense. And God, if I was limited to just the PS2 games, then I might have to go with mocap.
I mean, you could bring back mocap and make him fun. Maybe not interesting, or maybe definitely not cool, but you can make him fun, in my opinion. Shit, this is really hard. That's a good question, but fuck, is this hard?
The gameplay thing is asking a lot. That's a big question. I can maybe name 3 characters. If I have to tell you how I want them to play, I could go all night on that shit.
I think I got my 3.
Well, that's
and it hurt because the last one was
impressive.
a toss-up between like 4 characters, but
no, go for it.
Lee May, obviously. How would I want her to play? Lots of pressure. Give me all the pressure you possibly can. I don't necessarily want mix-ups. I mean, give her 50-50s, but don't make them lead into a combo. When she gets a 50-50, just give her frame advantage so she can keep pressuring and chip you out. That sounds fun to me. That's really all I ever wanted in any Mortal Kombat game. It's just a character who's good at doing lockdown. The combo opportunity is fun because I do I enjoy execution so much, but really just getting in, staying in, and making my opponent feel helpless is really what I game for. And on top of that, the footsies too. So let her keep safe mid-range options. Let her keep her cartwheel. Maybe make like the cartwheel unsafe. No, I'm going to reverse that. Make the cartwheel safe but low damage. Let her keep the rapid punch, the flying forward punch, the crouching tiger shit, but make that unsafe. But give it some hella damage. That's what I would do with Lee May. That's how I envision the character. My number 2 is Shu Jinko. I'll keep this short because I've said it so many times in the podcast. But let him have moves from all the ninjas, all the cool characters. Give him Shang Soul still even, but don't make them special moves. Make them part of his animations. When he does a chain combo, let him use Ermac's telepush. When he does a fucking jump kick, let him do like Kung Lao's dive kick for like one frame of animation. I don't even know what that would look like. But stuff like that. Don't import the moves. Just make them a visual collaboration of all the specials, and then make his special moves fusions as well. Like when you get hit by a freeze ball, instead of it being like a stun phase, make him like do some sort of like Ermac teleslam. Shit like that I think would be so much fun. Finally, and this was by far the hardest of the 3, because the other 2 were locks. This one was not. I'm going to say Natara for 2 reasons. A, I think visually, even though her design looks a little confusing to me, it looks like they incorporated too many random elements in there. I do think it can look really cool. And of all the females, I feel like she's doing her own thing. I like Astra a lot, but I feel like story-wise, Astra's kind of stepping on Serena's toes. I feel like Natara is a much better fit for MK11, although I miss Astra a lot. I think it could really do wonders for her design. Frost is like Fujin. The reason I didn't pick Frost is the same reason I didn't pick Fujin. I think she's a lock for the game. And Fujin, I don't know if he's a lock, but it doesn't fucking matter. They clearly don't care what I think about Fujin, so I'm tired of even asking for him. that covers our Fujin discussion for this episode. I don't think we've gone without talking about Fujin yet. Maybe we did last episode. I don't know. Gameplay wise for Natara, this one's tough because I want Sindel back too, and if Sindel's back, I'd like her to keep the flight mechanic. So if you're gonna do flight with Natara, you got to make it different. Maybe do like full screen shit, like more like offensive flight as opposed to like neutral flight. And then I give her like sick ass like strikes. Like don't make her like a pressure character, even an offensive character. Make her almost like a Dalsim character where she can do really cool range moves with her vampire agility. That's what I would do. And I think you can make the design really cool. I always liked the Kiss Army alternate costume back in Deadly Alliance. Whew, there's a lot of talking. All right, Django, do your thing.
This is really hard, man.
I'm curious, though. Yeah.
I am combing over this Armageddon select screen to find a third. And there's one or two I could pick, but I feel like they would be cop-outs.
I mean, pick a cop-out. That's cool. There's no fucking rules on this show. We do what we want.
Yeah. All
that goes for the audience, too. Like, if you want to ask non-gameplay questions, go crazy. You can ask whatever you want, guys. Like, don't feel like if it's not gameplay related, you can't ask it. Now, granted, if it's something like fucking like shitty, like fuck you, Temp, we reserve the right to not answer that. But otherwise,
not to answer it well, and that's always a possibility. You can ask whatever you want. That does not mean we're going to answer it well. We can try.
We reserve that right to not answer things well. That's part of the contract.
Oh God, this is fucking hard. Okay. First up, obvious, it's Fujin. We're not done talking about Fujin. You weren't the only Fujin mentioned. Fujin is number one. He would definitely be my top pick to come back from the 3D era. Fujin, for me, playstyle would be staff tier. Surprising, I know. Staff tier and to do fun, just do fucking air shit. Not air shit as in Ermac lift shit. Do some like Darth Vader force choke type stuff, like take all the fucking air out of the place and people's gonna not feel so not feel so good. You need that shit. It's some fun gameplay ideas there, I think. And with the staff, obviously, he just fucking do some fucking sick ass propeller type shit with air and wind and whatever. Not to mention, he could do teleporty type shit, but I don't know if I'd want him to. He could.
How would you feel about cage mechanics, where you like can create like a wind barrier, so like you're like inside the funnel and you're stuck in the corner. You can like lock you in a part of the screen, and you just body you, where you have to like fucking guess if you're gonna get crossed up or.
So that's like a partition from Third Strike. I forgot the character. What's the character's name? I know that guy.
Urian.
Urian, yeah. Is it like that?
Something like that. Only you're like inside of like a mini tornado, or maybe like not so many tornado. Like a tornado that takes up like a third of the screen. You're like locked into a part of the screen. You're fucking stuck there until the special move transpires.
This sounds like some Marvel Infinite shit.
Dude, if you fucking made Fujin play like Urian, you would make a lot of people happy. Like there's some people I'm thinking of right now who are smiling right now. They don't know why. So yeah,
that sounds cool to me. I think there's a lot of fun ways you could use his being the god of wind and air stuff that isn't just blowing you over or some shit. Like there's a billion ways to go about it. Like I said, dude should be able to suck all the air out of a place and everyone just fucking suffocates and dies. That shit's tight, cool. Yeah.
I like tornadoes in general. Give me more tornadoes. I can be down with tornadoes.
And tornadoes, fucking. You saw the cool ass stage from MKX, whom he wasn't even there for some stupid reason. But it's like there's a tsunami blowing over this place. It's just tornadoes and monks are going around like cows. Like Fujin should be doing that shit all day. That's his bread and butter. That with the staff, I would be very happy.
The staff is a good addition for sure. I think that make a lot of other people happy too, just because of the MK4 ending and stuff.
Rico. How do you say his name?
I always say Reiko.
That sounds good to me. He is definitely number 2. I would love to see this dude come back. I love this guy. You're gonna notice a theme here if you haven't already. I like dedicated melee weapon characters. Actually, if they have a dedicated like firearm that's like worked into their whole shit, I'm cool with that too. Sort of like Red Hood, I guess. With him, there's a lot of ways you could do Reiko that are interesting. But with him, I'd like to see him work the Warhammer into his whole everything. It's always out. He's always got it there. It's just part of his deal. Sort of like Robin with the sword, I guess. But obviously, not used the same because it's a fucking Warhammer. I always kind of wish Shao Kahn had done that instead of, like, summoning it with the green shit. To me, that felt... I always get a little bummed out whenever melee weapon characters do that sort of thing. Like, Donnie kind of does it, unfortunately. It's okay, but, you know, whenever he's not hitting with the stick, he puts it back on his shell, and he can, like, just punch a kick normally. I prefer it whenever the weapon is the whole thing. Like Nightwing, and when he's in staff stance, like, that's what the whole fighting style is built around. I would like to see a Reiko that kind of does that. If you have variations, then that makes it a little... Actually, no, if you do variations, then they would probably relegate the hammer stuff even more. No, fucking put the hammer, everything. It's always out. It's in all of his strings to different degrees. But he still has his Brotherhood of Shadow shit, which is what I think would make that a really cool combination. Like, he still can do some, like, noob-ish style teleports and throw the stars, because that's just fucking cool. But yeah, I think that would be really cool. Just, he's like this big fucking, like, not Shao Kahn big, obviously, but he's like a big dude walking around this giant fucking hammer. You know, I'm a Thor fan. I think that would be a cool and untapped kind of play style in Mortal Kombat. I would like to see that shit.
I think it'd be cool to see a character who's kind of built around unblockables. Like, he has, like, a lot of startup, but everything fucking hits, like, unblockable. Like, that would be tight. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
No, yeah, I can see. I mean, at the very least, like, that would have to put you in some legit stun, legit stagger type shit. Like, boy, plus frames if it connects. Man, this third one is hard. I don't know, like, you know, I'd like to see Havoc. Havoc's cool. I wouldn't mind Drummond. I think Drummond, they could do Drummond these days, especially now that they figured out how to not have to do the Freddy 2 gloves thing, because I just noticed just the other day that Hellboy can, like, he mirrors whenever he switches. So his hammer is not his hammer, his big hand is always on, like, the same side, which is good. It's like Idol in the new Killer Instinct. It mirrors correctly, like a 2D game would, like a sprite game would. Now that they figured that out, we could do some cool shit with Drummond. I'm glad that NRS has caught up to sprite-level graphics. It's good. But
it's ambitious, but yeah.
Well, you know, better late than never.
Indeed.
I'm gonna have to go Frost, though. I feel bad. I feel like it's a cop-out. Obviously, like, I have a vested interest in Frost. She's a Lin Kuei. I like Lin Kuei characters. I want Smoke. I like Cyrax. I like Sector. Like, I like all those dudes. Ninjas are cool. I have a ninja problem, I've discovered, since Injustice 2 came out. I played Ninja Turtles, Sub-Zero, and Robin. They're all ninjas. She is also an ice character. I'm into ice characters. So it's like a fucking win-win-win-win-win with her. I would want them to revisit her gameplay the most, though, like retool it. There's a lot of potential for, I think, more interesting. And she already had some, from what I recall from the 3D games, but they could do more with an ice character that isn't too Sub-Zero-y. That's been the biggest problem for a long time. It's like, oh, 2 ice characters, you're gonna play the fucking same. No, they don't, not anymore. They've figured out how to manage that because, boy, we've got fucking a billion ice characters in Injustice. We've got a fucking billion Catwomen in Injustice. That's a little too much. There's way too many Catwomen in Injustice. But you know what I mean. Sub-Zero and Captain Cold are not even remotely the same. They could do some fun stuff with her, especially use her more aggressive style over Sub-Zero's what is that shit he talks about? His cold fury he likes to talk about in Injustice. Like, I would like to see her more of a angry pressure, like, Raphael type ice ninja. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, those are my 3. That's what I got.
Those are all good choices. I like Frost and Fujin a lot. For design purposes, I think that, like, those 2 would look really cool in modern technology. And Fujin we've kind of gotten a glimpse of, but just nothing long term or
we
meaningful.
We got them both teased in that game.
I think you could really design Frost to look really cool. I like the Gohan hair. That's kind of tight. Fucking.
I agree. I think her design was easily like we get it. They put Sub-Zero's clothes on her. It makes sense, but you could have some fun.
Yeah, I think those are all pretty good choices. Drummond, I mean,
Well,
I wouldn't
Drummond
make
was
it
my
for that.
honorable mention. But I would like to see him, and Havoc. Obviously, Havoc would be cool.
Yeah, I'm probably the least biggest fan of Reiko on this show. All shows. I don't dislike Reiko. There's really not a strong selling point for me with Reiko. I'm just not a big MK4 guy in general. It's really just the Fujin show for me. So yeah, good choices. All very strong choices overall.
Which Reiko do you prefer? They did a big like overhaul of his character, especially or, like his visual presence. Especially, like I was surprised by how much like they thought about how he looked in Armageddon because it was very different.
I'm not really into the whole barbarian look. I don't normally do abs unless the character really pulls it off, right? It's a little too Conan for me. I don't know how to explain it. A little too spiky. I know he's a fucking Netherrealm general, so it makes absolute sense. I don't think it looks bad. I love the color choices. I love the maroon and the black. I just don't know if I'm into the whole 80s metal side of it. I think the female characters do the 80s metal side a lot better. So I love his MK4 rendition in Armageddon. I think that looked really good. The spikes are kind of a deal breaker for me.
His Shao Kahn thing is such like a... There's a really interesting fine line to walk there that goes between, like, it's cool, or, like, is he a Shao Kahn groupie? Because you don't want a Shao Kahn groupie from Reiko, but it's hard to navigate that line, because on the other side of the line, like, there is one that is cool, like, he's just fucking, like, waiting for his moment to fucking stomp Shao Kahn in the fucking dirt and take his spot, and be the warlord that maybe Shao Kahn was at the start. Maybe the warlord that Shao Kahn just didn't care to be as much, like the commander, over than just, the tyrant. There's some interesting stuff to do there, but they obviously never really ran with it too much.
It would be nice to see it revisited. I've always thought that dynamic was kind of interesting, that it was kind of just buried, for better or worse. I don't know. I think there's cool shit they could do with it. But to answer your original question, though, I prefer old school MK4 Reiko. Even if you fix all the spikes, I don't really like the 90s hardcore haircut he's got going on with the shaved sides. I didn't think that ever really looked awesome, the whole Rammstein looking thing.
That shit's fucking popular again right now. Like, fucking Cable's rocking that shit in the new Deadpool movie. That shit's everywhere.
Speaking of things I'm not digging, fuck.
You're not digging the Deadpool?
No, I think Cable looks stupid in the new Deadpool movie, but we'll see. I'll still watch it. I'll still probably really enjoy it. I prefer more of the middle-aged Zac Efron haircut he's got going on in MK4. I think I could do without the 90s shaved head with the slick back. I just never thought that looked cool.
It's man, I never really thought of his MK4 look that way. I could see it. Man, those throwing stars were cool. It's really
He's got
weird.
nice hair in MK4. Yeah.
He does. It's really weird how throwing stars haven't been used more in Mortal Kombat in general.
Well, they've kind of been in an awkward position because they've kind of been in a shared slot between Noob Saibot and Reiko. And Reiko hasn't been back long enough to reclaim them as his own signature, so it's been a... And
wasn't, like, Reiko originally going to be Noob Saibot, but, like, so they fucking, like, just design-wise, they decided to not use that for Noob? I don't know what happened there. But
in the preliminary version of MK4, Noob Saibot was the playable character with Reiko's moves, and I think they wanted to add more new characters, so they swapped out Reiko. I was saying they swapped out Noob Saibot for Reiko.
But then Noob Saibot was a hidden character.
On the console version, yes. I know for sure he was in the Nintendo 64 version.
There was also an arcade version of that game. That was like the last one, sort of barely.
Yep, that was the final arcade presence of Mortal Kombat.
That's 3. That's all. I can't do the 3D era more than that. You guys, come on, man.
That works. I mean, that's more than sufficient.
Okay. Good question, Kenshi Master.
Yeah, good stuff, dude.
Let me see. We're in the home stretch here. MK Trilogy Chameleon asks, how do you think they will evolve the new character designs, and how many new characters should be introduced? Personally, I think only a few new characters and a few returning from MK9/Armageddon to keep a good balance. So, what was the question there? How do you think they'll evolve the new character designs, and how many new characters should be introduced? We've broached that how many new characters question before. It's a good question. It's a very good question. It's a very sensitive question as well. What do you think? Like, because I think you have to kind of think of it in ratio terms. Like, it depends on the size of the roster. So, like, what fraction of the roster should be new? Maybe is a decent. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, there's what I think will happen, what I want to happen. If it were up to me, 3 new characters done. That's it. We need to fucking bring back, the 3D era guys. We need to bring back a lot of the legacy gameplay guys from MKX and MK9. So I would not do more than 3. Just to make it feel like a new game, I think 3 is a good number to kind of introduce new elements, play with some new gameplay ideas. With a game with variations, I don't feel like you need that many new characters. I think we'll probably get 5. I think we're leaning towards that. I think 5 is a likely number. Probably more, but not less than 5. I don't think there'll be too many more than 5, but I think 5 is a good guess number. As for how do I think they'll change the designs, that was the question, right? How much will they change the character designs?
How do you think they will evolve new character designs? Yes.
If we're talking about costumes, that's a difficult question because the rules all changed with MKX. In MKX, Sub-Zero's primary costume wasn't in the fucking game. It's purely a non-canon costume, unless you count the comic, which I don't. The comic might as well not even exist in my eyes. Liu Kang's primary was also not canon.
I had to think about that for a second. Yeah, you're right. Since Fujin, not Fujin. What is her name? Frost. Kind of had that costume herself. I guess that was like the default Lin Kuei garb was supposed to be that costume. It was the same for Scorpion though. Like they both weren't, the canon, whatever costumes.
Well, I think Scorpion had that primary costume. No, you're right. He had the MK9 costume in the NetherRealm story scene. So yeah. You're absolutely right. 2 non-canon costumes. So the rules change. It's hard to say what they'll do. It sounds like because of that, I guess they're just not as limited as what we could see. So I imagine they're not going to evolve in the same way that we evolved from MK4 to Deadly Alliance. They're going to evolve in a way where they're going to try to make a definitive design and kind of do a story thing for the alternate costume. That's the pattern I observed with MKX. And I think we'll see something very similar to that. I'm trying to remember, what was Kano's alternate in
MKX?
I think it was in MKX. It was the MK3 costume, right?
Oh, man. I do not remember.
Yeah, and it looked good, too. I remember it looking really good. Kano, alt, MKX.
Yeah. I think it's ringing a bell.
Oh, here we go, yeah. Yeah, and it looks very good. It's a shame it's not really in the story, but so they're at a point where there's no real rules anymore for what the alt is or what the it's a long fucking link. What the alt is or what the primary is. They can kind of do whatever they want. So if I had to venture a guess, I would say they're probably going to stick to more definitive models. They're not going to try to reinvent the characters anymore because I don't think that's what Warner Brothers wants. I think their directive is make the characters as recognizable as possible and make it look hip for all the kids. And I think that's really what all Warner Brothers is after these days. Yeah, I mean, it's a valid link. I don't think anything about that link worked.
That is a crazy... Looks like you just posted a virus in the fucking shit. That is a long-ass thing.
Yeah, if you can click that, don't click that. It's kind of... Google fucked up their image thingy, so you can't do like a traditional...
We got MKX fucking Kano.
Here we go, fixed. Let me delete this shit.
You found a thing?
Yeah, I don't even think it'll let me delete it anymore, but...
It's okay. It's you and I in here, we know not to touch it. Don't touch it.
It just keeps going. Okay, here we go. Alright, ignore... Oh my gosh, like, I fucking blew up the fucking Skype chat. Like, it's...
There, that's the one. Yeah. Okay, yes.
It looks good, too. I think it's a very good design.
Yeah, it's not bad. Well, I mean, it's the one from MK3.
Yeah, but with hair though, which I think looks better. He's got the Billy Mays thing.
That's true. It does have, but I mean that it is a good costume for him, but it also doesn't feel super Kano-y to me. I feel like it's got the loincloth. It's got kind of the MK vest going on. There's not a lot of it that feels Kano-y to me. But I feel that way in MK3 too.
I think that's why I like it better because I don't like Kano, so I feel like the less Kano it is, it just works for me.
That is, that's a valid strat. It's not bad.
I mean, he's grown on me over the years. I'm more Kano tolerant than I've ever been probably at any point in the series, but I think his improved designs have helped a lot, with the exception of the MKX primary, which I've kind of disliked from day one, just because if you're gonna have a dude without a shirt, you need something better than Kano. You need something more interesting, or at least a more interesting character, in my opinion. So, yeah, you can't have shitty Andy Serkis and call it Kano. That doesn't work for anybody. But yes, anyway, that's how I feel about the costume designs. Unless you're talking about gameplay design, is that a possibility based on the question? Was you referring to the evolution of the mechanics, maybe?
I don't think so. If I had to get, how do you think they will evolve the new characters' designs, and how many new characters should be introduced?
Oh, then I misunderstood the question.
I don't know how you can evolve new character designs.
I guess you're asking, like, what's going to be the theme of the new characters? And in MKX, the characters were primarily derivative. Veritor was sort of the Mad Max thing. Kodokan was the Mayan thing. Aaron Black was the cowboy thing. I don't think they'll do that again. So
derivative is, I mean, you're right. But it's also not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing. I just don't think they'll do it twice.
You could say derivative, but you could also say, like, archetypical type thing, like the cowboy. But that's like Mortal Kombat's best characters are often those sorts of things. Like, you know, Liu Kang is the Bruce Lee type dude. You have like an ice ninja. You got a fire ninja. There's a fucking lot of that shit.
Kung Odd Job and stuff like that.
You got a lot of that shit in Mortal Kombat, and those are often the ones. Even, you know, like Kenshi is that same sort of thing. The blind swordsman.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even more than that, he's, and I'm not even joking here, but he's basically Keanu Reeves from Matrix Revolution. So
totally.
Wait, actually, no, he's not, because I think was Kenshi first. I can't.
Before Matrix 2.
Matrix 3.
Did he not go blind in Matrix 2?
No, he didn't. He was super seeable or super not blind.
You're gonna have to Google that. I don't. That's some. They can battle that out. I don't know.
Release date was 2003, so no, Kenshi was first. Holy shit. Okay, my bad. Yeah, I fucked that up. All right, so yes, cross that. But anyway, yes, blind sword dude. Go on.
Cowboy. Derivative is a thing. Simple. Them thinking in terms of like, hey, what's like a simple archetypical design concept to go for? I don't think it's a bad thing. I think that's a interesting approach for them to try. And I really like Kodokan, and I really like Aaron Black. Ferrator was, you know, can't win them all.
Yeah, I think visibly I didn't care for the design. I wasn't against the idea, but I just didn't really like the way the character looked. But yeah, I feel like it will be less derivative this time. I feel like the theme of the new game is going to be less like archetypal characters and more of like story-themed new characters, like Taven's mom or some shit like that. I think that's more the angle they're going to go this time. I just don't think there's enough archetypes to go with that theme twice. I mean, like I said, they've always done derivative stuff, but I feel like creatively they're going to have to reach a lot further this time than they ever have before. Because they've been doing the derivative thing a little too long, you know? It's there's content out there, but it's got to be stuff Ed Boon is into and Ed Boon likes. I think that's the main rope that holds everything together.
That is a question. Takeda was like that too, to an extent. The, like the, not Cyber Ninja, definitely not that, because they did that. But he's like the anime futuristic ninja, like the Raiden from Metal Gear Solid type thing.
You see, there's a little bit of that, but I feel like there's also like the young adult fiction vibe to Takeda that kind of rings very strongly with me. But I could be wrong about that.
Oh man, that sounds terrible. What are you trying to do?
Yeah, not Hunger Games. What's the other shitty one? The one that's not good?
I don't know. What are you talking about? What are you doing to me over here?
Hold on, what's it called? What's that shit? I've never seen those movies.
I watched
Divergent. He looks fucking divergent as hell. Maybe he's not.
Does
I've never
he?
seen the movie. But yeah, I feel like there is a young adult fiction vibe to Takeda. I don't blow me up if I'm wrong, but I just get that vibe from that
maybe. To me, he always just felt more like anime.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Because he's got weird fucking hair whenever he's got weird hair in both of them. He's, but I feel like he was trying to, like, be like, look, this is, like, a new ninja in the Mortal Kombat sense of the ninja, but he's one who's not, like, leaning towards ancient ninja shit, like Scorpion and Sub-Zero were back then. Like, he's ninja from now, and how does that look and feel and whatever. I mean, he is a Shiro Ryu.
Yeah, yeah, okay, I guess I can't disagree with any of that.
I mean, I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying, like, that feels like maybe what that was in their head. Like, new ninja derivative, like, simple, archetypical type thing like we were talking about.
It certainly works on paper. If they do the next set of new characters as additional archetypes, that would be awesome because that gives me faith that we're not just going to get a bunch of special forces stuff. We're actually going to get some. That's really what makes a Mortal Kombat character feel like a Mortal Kombat character is the type of source material that inspires it. You know, even in the 3D era, that felt very true to me. So if they keep that thing going, good for them. It's only going to get harder, and I feel like the themes of the game are not cultivating that vibe anymore.
I agree.
Just how it feels. I could be wrong.
I don't disagree. Like Cassie's a good idea that wasn't executed very well. I think that they need to lean really hard with her into gun kata shit. Do flashy shit with guns to better combine the Johnny Sonya thing. Don't have her just doing Johnny moves. Don't have her just doing Sonya moves. Like, do gun kata shit. Make her more like a, they did Red Hood, but do it better than Red Hood, please. Do more John Wick type shit with her. Just that kind of thing. That way, it is an archetype. It is a thing that's a little more popular right now, and it's a thing that's not already in Mortal Kombat. Give her that thing.
It would be better. I still don't think I'll ever like Cassie Cage, but it would definitely be an improvement for sure.
And I mean, come on, like that's really all we can ask for is an improvement. I don't think she's going anywhere yet.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I think we're stuck with all these kids.
Jackie, I hope Jackie doesn't come back, man. She really just didn't bring anything. Like we said, fucking Cassie has a gun kata type, whatever, we get it. Takeda is like a weird anime ninja, Metal Gear Solid Raiden, whatever. And Takeda brings up, like, at least a lot of fun lore type shit because he's fucking Scorpion raised this kid. Like, that sounds like the weirdest fucking thing from any Mortal Kombat game that you've ever played. And he has the cool shit with his dad of maybe doing something with the Red Dragon. Like, he's got a lot of hooks tying to a lot of different lore potential, I feel. I'm also biased because I love Takeda.
I'm biased because I like Kenshi and Scorpion. I mean, Takeda, I can take or leave, but I definitely like Takeda better than the other three. I think Jackie is the best praise I can give Jackie. She's harmless, but Takeda, I feel like there's elements that hit and miss. But I like Kenshi a lot, and once they let Kenshi talk, the character became so much more interesting to me. I really like his personality and how chill he is in the games. I think it was really well done. So Takeda gets that point for me. But if we're answering the original question, I feel like it's going to be less derivative this time.
That's probably a good idea.
Hopefully it's still derivative. Hopefully it's, yeah. I hope I answered that question right. I hope I understood it properly. I think I did, but let me know if I didn't.
Like we said, there's no guarantee we're going to answer these questions well, but we'll do our best, man. We might answer them badly a lot. We'll give it every fucking effort we have. What is this? Snake Eyes says, do you guys believe in a skin meta? Yeah, I do. Do you pick a character skin the other person hates just to fuck with them? Like the Golden Scarab Scorpion? And would MK do well by having less traditional skins and focus more on being a video game by giving the characters a bunch of different non-canon outfits? It seemed like the Horror Pack was a half step in that direction. What do you think?
Well, to answer the first part of the question, yes, I do believe there's a costume meta for sure. But I think it works in the reverse. When I make my Shady Sub-Zero costume, I don't feel like it affects my opponent as much as it affects me. But that's a good thing, though. Like, having a good costume or a good alt costume, I think can really affect your mental game and your morale. I think how you feel about your character in that moment does affect your gameplay and does, on a very, very subconscious level, I think it does affect your decision-making. So just even if you have a good primary, changing costumes to one you don't like as much will kind of, it's almost like a reset button for my brain. I feel like it kind of makes me start. I feel like if I use a costume a lot, I almost associate habits with it. But it's a good question. It deals with a very deep part of human psychology that I don't really have access to. But I think there's something there. I don't know if it works in the reverse though. Unless the costume is visibly affects the meta. A good example of that is Scorpion's Predator costume in MKX.
Oh my god, dude.
That shit will blind you. Like, that actually deeply affected me playing against that, because it not only does it hurt, but it takes your eyes away from the attention of where you want it to be. It does actually affect where you focus on the screen. So I definitely think that's a factor. I don't know if it's part of the meta though. I think it's not meta at all. I think it's a very direct part of the game, and it's a special move. Let's put it that way. So yeah, but I think there's something there. I think whatever costume you pick on some very low level does affect both players. It's just the question of is it a relevant effect or not? I think at least on the play on your character, I think it absolutely is relevant. On the other player, I think the jury's out on that. They say if you drop a coin in the ground, vibrations can be traced all the way up to the fucking moon. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if there's any real science behind that, but that's what some old man told me. So I feel like this works the same way. I feel like everything factors in. They say when you play a guitar that the type of wood, if it's mahogany or alder, affects the tone.
Oh my god.
Dude, there's no science behind that, but what's up?
Does.
Go on.
Let me tell you, it hella does. It
the
hella
Tonewood
does.
debate is like blown up in the last 3 years. It's been crazy.
It's fucking. This is a giant fucking junction that we just plugged into, and I don't know if it was a good idea, but this is legit. It's a thing. It's real. It's real. There's nothing that's ever been realer in the entire fucking span of human history and science. It's real.
I used to swear by mahogany. I used to think if you want a good bass tone, you gotta have mahogany or you're an idiot. And now I'm sort of like a Tonewood agnostic. I don't really know what I believe anymore, just because the literature on both sides has gotten so extensive, and yet there's no study on this yet. I know Rob Chapman did the test between maple versus alder, and there was a difference. The maple did sound brighter.
Yeah, there's just, but it's very important. By the way, this episode will now be called Tonewood. It's a thing. This is also a thing. It's important to note the difference between guitar and bass. Your what you're looking for, your needs, your requirements for both of those instruments are different, and you're gonna tell the differences more so, I feel, on guitar, just because, you know, treble frequencies in general are more distinguishable to the human ear, whereas bass are just big, they're fat, you know, wavelengths, and they take up more space, and it's harder to distinguish what's going on there. Not that it's not important, though, because it is.
Well, I want to agree. I want to believe Tonewood's affect the tone. I want to believe that mahogany versus bubinga is a huge ass difference, and I think there's a good chance it is true. But here's the thing, though: when Rob Chapman did the experiment, you know, how far away were the magnets from the strings? Were there any adjustments to the bridge, even if minor? Were the strings the same? If they were both new strings, how do we know the string sets were? You know, there's just so it's hard to do a scientific control when you're testing subjective sound differences. So I don't know. It's for me, it's tough because Tonewoods are such a big part of marketing. Like if you buy an Ibanez that's over $1,000, it's gonna just look like a big wooden chunk. Mm-hmm. Like they don't believe in color after that price range. There's so much marketing around it, and it's hard, man. I don't know, and people talk about it dogmatically, like it's like it's obvious. And even though I think there's a good chance it's true, I don't think it's obviously true. And it's hard to remove other variables that could be affecting the sound, especially when you're dealing with the treble frequencies. So I don't know, man. Like I used to swear by Tonewoods, but I just don't know, man.
I think that's a big, it's a big reason why this conversation and the question in general shouldn't have really anything to do with guitars. Take the guitars out of it. Take instruments out of it. I mean, it's true.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Like if the science works for, you know, any frequency bouncing off of wood. It's not about guitar. It's not about instrument. You can measure that shit with anyway, and that also removes all those variables like you're talking about. If you fire,
I misunderstood your statement initially. I thought you were talking about Mortal Kombat again. But yes, go on. Yes, go on.
Well, okay, but like you know, if you fire a specified frequency at a, you know, fucking 100-pound block of maple, and then fire the same one from the same angle at a 100-pound block of something else. Like that's data that you can use. That's data that you can track and is different. For me, in my like, I haven't even had like, I'm not like this cultured guy that's gone around and played all these different guitars, and I have like this seasoned palette of whatever. But it's fucking so tangible every time I pick up a guitar that has it comes from both ends. If it has a maple fretboard, it's not squishy. If you have a rosewood fretboard, if you have any other kind of fretboard, it's going to feel squishy, which means you're not going to have as much sustain, and it's not going to be as bright as it is with a maple fretboard, because maple is just harder, and so there's not that squishy vibe. It's fucking there. And then the maple body on top, it's also going to have the same effect. I've had maple guitars, or guitars with maple tops, guitars with mahogany tops, alder. All all of those don't do what maple does. Maple is brighter, it lasts longer, it changes the tonality of things. It's just that harder wood, so the woods itself is just not absorbing sound the same way. Which means the sound is going everywhere else. It's not being absorbed into the wood. It's interesting, though, because I also like playing with EMG pickups. Those have a certain effect of... I feel like they do negate some of the Tonewood properties to an extent. They don't negate what's going on when I talk about the squishiness of a fretboard. They don't negate that. But they do negate as far as the tonality differences you'll get from different woods on the body. Just because EMGs have so much their own shit going on. And they process your signal too. They sound more flat and compressed almost intentionally. At least the EMGs that I've used.
No, I agree with that. I use EMGs in some of my guitars as well, and I've had that same experience.
And that's good. Like that's not a bad thing. That's often something that's very helpful and beneficial and intentional.
With distortion, you want that compression because that's where you get that crunch, is that scooped kind of sterile sound. That's when you get that high gain.
But man, you can play some fucking jazz with EMGs too. And again, because of that evenness and the little bit of compression, you get this clarity, and all the notes are just ringing very precisely and clearly in place. With, some EMG, like, there's different EMG models, obviously, to give you different stuff. What do I have? I have a lot of, I usually go the old whatever, like EMG 8185, and they have that thing like I'm talking about. Like, if you want to plug it into some fucking jazz amp and do some jazz shit, it's super clean. And I've talked to people about that. Anytime that I talk about things that aren't rock related, they're like, clean? Like, that's not what anyone, like, that's not what you think of when you think of EMGs, but that's what... that's kind of what they're there for. They just have really good note separation, I feel, and distinction. But if it's really like the thing that does, like I said, the trade-off is that there's not as much uniqueness per guitar. Like, you get that EMG sound. It sounds more the same from player to player and guitar to guitar. So, if you have a Seymour Duncan Les Paul, every one of those is going to sound fucking different because of the wood and the whatnot that it does with the EMGs. Boy. I said a lot of words just then.
And I agree with, I actually agree with 8% of it. I like EMGs too, just because, I like the EMG 60 in the next position. Mm-hmm. Listeners, don't worry, we're almost done, but this is cool, so I want to do this real quick. I feel like with the next 60, everything, people may argue it sounds sterile, but I think it's the wrong perspective. It sounds clean, and there's clarity, and more importantly, all the string volumes sound even across all the strings. With a passive neck pickup, I feel like there's big volume jumps from like the low E to like the D. The volume kind of really varies a lot from string to string.
It's true.
I feel like you get that quiet evenness from an active pickup, and I don't feel that with bass, just because with bass, I'm all about the low mids. That's why I like precision basses so much. And most active pickups are not about low mids. They're about that scoop sound. They're about having good solid lows and like bright trebly highs. And that's because there's like a microphone built into the pickup. They're actually low output by nature because they don't need to be high output. They're so sensitive that they have the active signal. They don't need to be high output. So what are we talking about? I guess the only other thing I would add before we close the book on this is the fretboard versus the body is hard, because you might be right with the fretboard because the string's actually making contact with the fretboard. But with the body on an active or passive bass, guitar, whatever, when the vibrations go from the bridge into the body, are they making their way back to the magnets in the pickup to affect the signal? I mean, I just don't know. I'm not a pickup scientist. It's hard. I don't know. I want to believe
That's definitely true. I'm also not a pickup scientist. Let this be known. I'm not any kind of scientist. It's definitely true. It's that's just the only way that I can say it, is that guitar tops that are not maple absorb sound waves that are happening. So there's just less sound actually there than it is with something like a maple, like a harder top. And if there's more sound that's not being absorbed by the wood, there's more sound that's coming through the pickups, and that you're also hearing whenever you're just playing unplugged. It's kind of both. That's just what my non scientist experiences say.
I would love you to be right. I think there's a very strong possibility you are right, but I'm scared to say anything these days because it's such an angry discussion. Like, people are so bent on this. and no one actually wants to throw down the dough to do a real scientific analysis. Like, I don't think people know how to do it. I don't know if they know how to remove the other variables. It's just so complicated.
But that's part of the fun too. Like, this isn't just superstition. There's a lot of superstition with a lot of guitar shit. A lot of it. But this is this is physics. This is acoustics too. So it's like, it's hella physics, physics, science shit. Things do absorb sound waves. There are things that don't absorb sound waves. Like, but as far as like, what does, what doesn't, where does the line happen, that's what makes the conversations interesting, and that's what opens up room for the superstition and whatnot, because it's hard to see where those lines live. It's fun. In my experience. Boy. That was a fun little fucking off-ramp there. How did that happen? What are we talking about?
Costumes.
Meta.
Snake Eyes. Yes, the meta.
Yes.
The costumes affect the meta. Yes, I think they do. I think they affect the meta the way Tonewood affects bass tone.
Right. Okay. Yes, that's what it was. I can't. It's definitely true. If I want to play Tekken and I'm fighting against someone who has their character naked or with fucking a pizza on them or angel wings, like, yeah, that's meta. That's hella meta. It's breaking my brain, and it works. It's a thing. It's an active thing. The second part of his question, which is also good, how do you feel about having the non-canon skins and whatnot available, just, because you're having a fun video game and make the versus mode fun video game things?
I'm okay with it to an extent. To the extent that we should allot resources to that. The problem with non-canon costumes is I feel like, I know it's almost like taboo to say slot stealing, but I feel like I don't really want to see a non-canon Sub-Zero costume if we still don't have the cryo armor. So that's the only time where I feel like if there's room left in the mix, throw them in there. But if there's not, then nah. I definitely don't think they're priority. I'm not against them in principle, though. I think you can do some non-canon costumes really well. A good example is Melina's vampire costume. A bad example is every other horror costume in MKX. So yeah, I don't know.
I don't disagree. I have some strong feelings about the non-canon costumes. It's one of my favorite things about Mortal Kombat X is all the the deviation away from, like, we have to do costumes that are directly tied to whatever shitfest lore may or may not be coming up in this game that's been cracked up, because boy, if the story fucking shit is stupid, then I don't want that to, like, by default have to affect the fun I can have in versus mode. The cool stuff that's going on in versus mode. And that's not really as much of a problem anymore, just because there's more resources to make these games than there were back in the Midway days, so it's not as much of like a tight budget where that's concerned. But also MKX gave us a lot of, quote, non-canon skins that were some of my favorite ever. Scorpion's default is the best Scorpion I think that there's been. And before then, I thought Mortal Kombat 2 Scorpion was the best Scorpion ever. So for a brand new Scorpion to, in my opinion, beat that one was not expected by me at all. I love fucking the default Scorpion in MKX. Default Sub-Zero, not so much. I see what they were going for. They were going for kind of the same thing there that they were going for with Scorpion, but it wasn't as, it wasn't executed as well. Kung Lao. I like Kung Lao's, his old Kung Lao, if he hadn't become a Revenant. Like that shit looks sick. I also like his tournament, though. His tournament one is also really fucking good.
I agree, yeah. I even like his MK3 one a lot. I thought that looked sick.
No, it does, yeah. Kung Lao, this was a good showing for Kung Lao in this game. I wish we could have gotten the mask that was in his concept art for the Revenant skin. I think if his Revenant had that mask, that would have been sick. But I'm a fan of masks. For some reason, they didn't go that route. I don't remember what it was, but I would have liked it. What was? Non-canon skins. I'm all for that. Because I'm gonna be playing versus mode so much fucking more than I am any story mode, whatever. Just keep it fresh. Keep new shit coming in there. Don't make it like fucking Predator Scorpion. Jesus, that was a fucking. Don't do that. But besides that, yeah, it's good. If it, like, Tron Raiden was dopey, but it was okay. It was fine. It was nice change to see every once in a while.
It was good for, like, just why not? It had that factor going for it, so.
What else was there? There was another. Oh, I mean, this wasn't a non-canon skin, but obviously my go-to for Sub-Zero was the white Revenant skin, which popped up a little bit, not too much, but it was still fucking really sick. And I like the white version. Has to be the white version. White Sub-Zero.
I like them both.
White Sub-Zero is now a thing for me. If I'm playing Sub-Zero, I need to be a white Sub-Zero. If I can't do it, I'm gonna be pissed in MK11. I'm gonna be angry. It's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, the only reason why I never used that costume is because it's just weird thinking of Sub-Zero as a Revenant. It's just such an alien concept to me. That didn't even last that long either, so fucking that's the only reason why I never really dug that costume much, but it looks fine.
I love it even more now since me and Razor had that back and forth about whether or not that was supposed to be still somewhat cybernetic Sub-Zero because of the spine and stuff like that. There was some reference to that in the concept art for it in the crypt for that skin. Like it wasn't completely uncybernetic Sub-Zero at that point. He still had a little bit of that in there. And I thought that was a cool idea. I thought that was fun. I kind of wish he still had like some like physical remnant of his cybernetic shit, just because, you know, it's like a physical scar. It's like a physical reminder on the person that fucking bullshit happened. That would have been a much better way for him to end up with some kind of face scar than whatever happened in the comic. What was it? Fucking Kano with the ninja dagger out of nowhere. Like, no, like tie that into the cybernetic thing and have that, you know, it's fucking right there on his face. It's a reminder of not just the shit that happened, but also the shit that the Lin Kuei did, like their dishonorable past and all that shit. It's cool character stuff, in my opinion.
Your opinion's right. I didn't really care for the way he got the scar either, especially for the fact that you don't even know how he got it unless you read the comics. I hate the reliance on the comics, especially when you know later on it's going to contradict the game lore. It's just such a mess.
I understand Razor's perspective, sorta, that the weird back spine on the Revenant costume is just armor. I have to argue that has never existed. That's never seen that be a thing ever, just to have random spine armor on one's spine. And furthermore, I think it's the most Quan Chi thing in the world to be like, hey, you guys are all about spines, right? I'm going to give you your entire human body back except for your spine. Like that, like I like that. That's some character shit. And Quan Chi hates fucking like Bai-Han. And this isn't even Bai-Han. It's just like a fun dig for like being a shitty fucking person. Quan Chi, man, I dig it. I like it. And that's the only way that like the spine has significance, to call it out like that, in my opinion. Is like, these dudes are all about some spines. That's their whole deal. Fucking, I heard you like spines, bro, so here, I'm gonna give you a spine that you're always gonna fucking remember.
Okay, yeah, I can agree with that. I think there's something there for sure, but...
Obviously, this is not confirmed one way or the other. We don't know.
Interesting.
But this is, I'm gonna take that snippet that was in the concept art and run with it, because... I mean, if it's fucking there, I don't know what spine armor would be doing. But who knows? Anyway, give me all the skins. More skins, the better. I'm one of the few people that don't love the cryo armor. I know. I'm gonna fucking get wrecked. The Shredder armor, like, it's not that I don't like the look of it, I do. But the Shredder armor also reminds me of Shredder, and that Shredder and that whole deal was because he was Japanese. I'm not sure what the equivalent would be in Chinese, whatever. And the cryo armor isn't Chinese; it's outworldly. I get that. But it's it's also a little weird because Sub-Zero is, they are like if half Chinese or whatever. The Lin Kuei is Chinese. I wanna draw some lines here. Shredder is badass, but I don't know. Something there with Sub-Zero specifically wasn't doing it for me.
I think even people who... I mean, I'm one of them. I love the cryo armor, but for a lot of people, myself included, it's not really just about the appearance. It's more about what the cryo armor represents, and that's the fact... It represents an era where costume changes were a big deal. Like, going from MK4 to MK Deadly Alliance, Sub-Zero looked so different. Like, they really revamped the character. And it was like, oh my god, Sub-Zero looks badass. And in the next game, they're like, fuck that, now he's a fucking samurai. And everyone was so hyped because it's just like, everyone really felt like they were getting a new game with Deception and Deadly Alliance. And that feeling of the characters could change completely and still look really cool and maintain their essence, it made you... Deadly Alliance and Deception set the precedent for being excited for a new MK game because you had no idea what the characters were going to look like. And that's what Cryo represents to me. That's what the Cryo armor is all about, is the fact that with the new Mortal Kombat game comes all this badass change. And that is so well defined in Cryo armor. And Ermac's like a genie costume. I love all that shit. And that is also what is precisely lost with MKX. MKX is not about changing everything. It's about making all the MK2 characters come back because MK2 and making everyone look roughly the same. And then the shit that is different isn't even canon. That's what MKX is all about. So I think that is what fuels the fire for stuff like Cryo armor to come back. I do think it looks good, though, but I think a lot of it is sentimental as well. So,
and listen, let it be known, I have no problem with Cryo armor. I have no problem with that like plot thread either. By all means, like go do that shit, and just you know, with a slight redesign of the Cryo armor, keep the Samurai Shredder. I'm not saying ditch that shit. I'm not an idiot. Fucking Shredder's always look sick. He will always look sick. I like Shredder.
It's hard to change. It's hard to not change because the problem with the fucking Cryo armor is things that we thought were part of the Cryo armor Sub-Zero wore in MK9. The fucking shoulder pads, the fucking knee pads that we all thought were part of the armor set. He already had all that shit, though. So what the fuck? You can't tell me that the furry shit was the only part of the Cryo armor plus the helmet. So bringing back the Cryo armor is just a really tough thing to do at this point because aesthetically, Sub-Zero's costumes are all kind of mixed together now.
Well, but the one thing they didn't do, like they brought back the pieces of it, but he has not looked like anything samurai related. So if they kind of retool that, but focus on the samurai thing being like the big difference, and that also gives you the Shredder type stuff, then it could still work.
Yeah, and to be fair, he didn't have the knee pads in fucking MK9, but he did have the shoulder pads, which looks exactly like the knee pads. And
I did.
It's fucking confusing. It's so hard to remedy at this point, and I don't know.
Well, I don't know if it's that hard to remedy. Like if they put him in an outfit that looks kind of shreddery, you're there.
The only way they could do it is if they make it look exactly like they did in Deception, because anything else is just going to be confusing. No one's going to know what to make of it.
He better have the fucking scar though. I swear to God, if you guys do that shit again, I remember people being mad about that Deception.
I'm not over that at all. Like, dude, he should have had the scar Deception. That made me so mad.
Oh, and don't do that other weird that alternate costume he had from that game. Don't do that shit. That was, what was, is he bald? He had like the top knot. No, come on, man.
Everyone hates that. My only problem with that costume is that it's this weird turquoise. It's not a true blue. Other than that, I thought the costume was actually okay. I'm not really into the whole bald shit anyway, so I prefer sub with hair. Bring it back with hair and beard, I'd be okay with that.
Beard is something else that I want to stick around for that character at least. That costume might be okay with it, but I prefer him to have the mask like he did in the comic. I thought that looked way better for his MKX alternate story costume. That's true. I mean, listen. When I say beard, I don't mean to replace the mask. If he has the mask, that's fine. But whenever he has the mask off, have a beard. I want to, like, any maskless Kuai Liang, I want to see a beard. Because to me, I'm making that shit up in my head. I was going to say, to me, having a beard makes it feel a little less ninja-y, which is technically good because they're not ninjas, they're Lin Kuei, they're Chinese, whatever. But ninjas can have beards too, it doesn't matter. Just give him a beard. I just want the beard on him. The beard looks sick. If he doesn't have the mask is always, I love masks on my ninjas, come on, man. But without the mask, keep the beard. Fucking yes, I think we answered that question.
Good question, dude.
Snake Eyes, yeah. We got you. Fucking all that shit. Two more. Down Forality. You know this guy.
I do.
If you had to pick one player to return to tournaments and start competing again for MK11, who would it be? Rio, Wound Cowboy, etc.? This is such a good fucking question.
It's a hard one, too. Gosh.
This would get me so fucking hyped. This was such a big part of MK9 for me. It was one of the tournament scenes that, like, with the online presence and streams that I started. It's one of the first big ones that I really got into and, like, paid attention to and followed and started watching shit. And I was really bummed about it. with Injustice and then going into MKX, it wasn't quite the same as the hype it was whenever you had Rio and your Tom Brady's and Perfect Legends back then and all that shit. CD Jr. was around a bunch, I think. Once fucking Sonic Fox came along, everything was just not as much fun to watch. Oh, and 16-bit was still around back then too.
Yeah, that was actually going to be my answer. I was going to there's really only one answer to this question, and that's 16-bit. There's a lot of good answers, but I feel like if you brought 16-bit back, he would do something really cool. If you brought back Tom Brady, like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know Tom Brady. I like him a lot, but fucking. Also, a lot of the ones I want back aren't truly gone. Like, Tom Brady's not truly gone. He just doesn't. Well, no, he's gone. I would say he's truly gone. He doesn't go to enough tournaments to really qualify as a consistent player. Perfect Legend is not really gone. I wish he would come back and be the badass he once was. I wish he would stop fucking counterpicking.
Dude, 13-0, come on, man. You can't come back after that. You can't.
But if he did, though, it would be fucking epic. It would be so epic if he came back. And I'm a fan of the dude. I think he's super talented. I don't think anyone plays like Perfect Legend. CD Jr., to me, I mean, CD Jr. is just kind of like a precision player. He's just really solid. He has great footsies, and he knows how to utilize his tools. But I don't really identify a play style with him like I do with the sort of like the turliness with Tom Brady, sort of the conservative. Because when you watch Tom Brady, you can tell it's Tom Brady. And with Perfect Legend, just the craziness, just being all over the screen. That
Rio had
so
that too with Cabal. Rio was fucking boy. He was all over that shit.
Oh, yeah. No, that's true.
Who was the Cyrax player, though?
The Cyrax player, DJT was one of them. Crazy Bones was another. A lot of people actually switched over to Cyrax in the long run.
Right, as they should.
Yeah. I don't know. The problem with bringing Rio back is... God, I want to put this nicely. The thing about... There's this big debate about Rio. Was it the character or was it the player? And I always say it was both. You can't separate it. Rio is a very good player. Cabal is a very good character. The mixture can't be separated into its base elements because there are no base elements. So Rio without Cabal is not the same player. Well, unless you put Cabal back in the mix, Rio will probably never be as good as he ever was ever again. He was a good Cabal player. He was not the best MK player. He was a very good one. He was an extremely good MK player. And to be fair, he didn't just play Cabal. He played a lot of great characters, but the other characters like Cage, who we used early on, the meta was still developing. So I think Rio is very smart. I think he's super fucking talented, but he, in my opinion, will always be the greatest Cabal player. If we see him come back, I am not convinced he'll be able to shake foundations. Like
that's how I felt about Perfect Legend, though. I felt the exact same way about Perfect Legend.
Well, the difference is Perfect Legend's character is still in the game and is still very good and still has a lot of his shenanigans. That's why I feel like... Also, like, Perfect Legend has done great things with other characters. The shit he did with Brainiac and Evo was awesome. Like, just getting perfects and pulls.
Yeah,
like,
I guess I forgot some of that shit. I mean, yeah, but he didn't go very far with it, though, did he?
No, unfortunately he didn't. I don't remember what his exact placement was, but... I don't think he made top 32. I could be wrong, but I don't think he did.
I remember one of the first streams that I watched in like when Justice 1 came out, right after MK9 and all that shit, and he was fucking, Mr. Evo and that shit with Kung Lao. He was just, playing Doomsday in the first Injustice game and just not really getting kind of wrecked in pools and not doing very well out of that. Like, it's like, man, I don't know, it felt like what you were saying about Rio. Like, this guy and MK9 Kung Lao was what the magic sauce was.
I guess the difference is when I watch, like, Perfect Legends Displacer, I see greatness. There's a really cool, like, duality there between Perfect Legend and Displacer Raiden. I think he could have done crazy cool shit, but he just didn't have confidence in his characters. He kept counterpicking, which is a bad habit in the NetherRealm community. I wish we'd see less of that. I don't think anyone wants to learn their bad matchups, unfortunately. And to be fair, his ninjutsu wasn't bad. I just feel like if he would just stick with the character and really fucking get used to the meta with that tool set, I think... And I love Perfect Legend. I really do. I think he's a cool dude. I wish he just rocked his placer and went as far as he could. And if he disagrees, cool, I respect that. But obviously the counterpicking is not working, so I don't know, I'd like to see what he would say in response. Because the counterpicking didn't do shit. Injustice, I didn't see anyone other than Brainiac, so I don't know if he used other characters. I might remember him using a different character, but it's been so long now. But I definitely saw him in pools, and he looks sick. So I think there is room for PL to come back. CD Jr., I think the only reason why CD Jr. is as good as he is because I think he's one of those players that picks up on the meta very early. So look at all his successes. Season 2 MK9, right? He got second place at EVO 2012. And then Killer Instinct, I think he got the first EVO win for KI. He's good. He's good at picking up on the meta early on. And he basically approaches the game, I think, the way it's supposed to be before a lot of other people do. Like, he broke Jax before anyone realized Jax was a problem. And even though Jax probably isn't even top 10 in that game anymore, like, he figured it out first. He was the first. Well, let me rephrase that. I don't actually know if he figured it out first. But he was the first one to really make it shine in tournament. And that's always going to be his claim to fame. And I like CD Jr. too. I think he's like another Rio situation. If he comes back, I don't really think he's going to break foundations. So my answer would be 16-bit by far. I think he's such a solid. He's just smart. The way he plays the game is just fucking smart.
It is. I agree. 16-bit would be a really good pick. Obviously he's not going to come back because he's having a blast being at NRS over there. And he really likes his gig, from everything that I can tell, and it's cool. I'm happy for him.
Yeah,
but
he's living the dream, literally.
It was really fun watching his Katana MK9, watching his Catwoman in Injustice 1. I would never want to play either of those, and he kind of put both of those characters on my map as like ones that I fucking get salty about whenever the other guy's hovering over them when I'm playing online. Man, Katana. Okay, whatever. I agree. 16-bit is a good one. I can't really think of a better one.
I can think of an honorable mention. If I had to give an honorable mention, I would say Pig of the Hut.
I was going to call out Pig, but Pig's still around though, right?
It sounds like he's done. I feel like Evo was kind of his last hurrah. I think that was part of the plan. He's doing the family thing now. He travels a lot for work. I haven't kept up with any of his streams. I don't even know if he still streams, to be honest with you, but that dude is just a fundamentals monster. It is so fun watching him play. I love seeing his Reptile and his Kenshi and MKX. Dude, and just his Zod, like I think he's just really good at optimizing. 16-bit, I feel like just more of like a technician. Like, he's so good at blowing up wake-ups. He knows all his spacing options. He just knows how to be as dangerous as possible at every part of the screen.
Did Pig also play Sinestro?
At first, yeah, he did. And then it didn't go so well. He switched to Zod finally, though.
That's
Zod
right,
was
that's
kind
right.
of his final resting place for Injustice 1. And he almost fucking, I'm trying to find words here. He almost wrecked Sonic. Well, no, he technically did wreck Sonic Fox. Sonic Fox has brought it back, I think 6 games straight, but I think he made it to Injustice Grand Finals and winners with Zod. It was a really good top 8.
That was fun to watch because of that giant comeback. But no, Pig. It was not a blow up on either side. Fucking Pig and Zod was not something that you want to fight. It was good. He did good shit.
It's funny remembering that day now because, no joke, that was actually one of the worst days of my life. I was watching that stream just part dead inside. I had such a horrible, tragic day, but I'll save that story for another day. But anyway, yeah. So those would be my 2 picks: 16-bit and Pig of the Hut. Just to clarify, Rio and CD Jr. are fucking tight ass players. I am not sold that Rio in the modern community, in the modern meta, can do what he did with Cabal. I'm just not convinced. I really feel like that duality is where he shined, and that I've not seen anything to show otherwise.
I think you're right. I think I think that's the case. I would see them, but then again, I mentioned them. He mentioned them. I wouldn't. I can't even pick who I'd want from back then to see come back, and it wouldn't be those guys for pretty much the same reason you said. That's really tough. And I'd probably just fucking again say Tom Brady just because not because I think he'd do well or anything, just
I think it'd be hype.
For the shit talking and all that shit. Yeah, absolutely.
I'd be leaping out of my chair the whole tournament. It'd be so sick, but I feel like he just has made the decision that he does not want to pursue that route. For whatever reason, he just doesn't want to do the tournament. Maybe he can't do the tournament thing. I don't know. Maybe he's too busy. Maybe he's occupied in other ways. I just don't know, dude.
I did have some fun watching him in MKX with Sub-Zero. There were definitely some tournament showings from him that were entertaining that I enjoyed. He did well. So like that wouldn't be a crazy thing. But if I did say,
Oh damn! Now the lighting's fucking crazy over here.
you're getting it, man.
Yeah.
It's about time. You're not that far away. It should be fucking on the way at some point. We did pretty well here. We've got the last question from Evan. We've made it. Cool. Evan asks, today...
Good question, by the way, Red Man. Good shit.
That was a very good question. Today at 1:45 a.m., Evan asks, if you had the choice between Fujin, Smoke, and Noob, shouldn't Superman get buffs, though? This is what I say. I want to say, I want Evan, friend of the show, Evan, and then it's like, I'm gonna rethink that.
I like it. He's playing the long game. I can respect that.
I don't like this meta. I don't like it. This is why I don't play Tekken. This is why I can't play Tekken. This is why I can't play Dragon Ball. This meta, I can't keep up with. You guys are too good. I can't do it. It breaks me.
But I see I do see the tactic, and I dig the question. That's hard because there's a clash here because Smoke is my favorite of those three. Okay, like I said, I've kind of given up hope of ever seeing Fujin again, but Noob Saibot, like the fucking carpet's been laid down. Like he has the bus ticket to show up to MK11 City. Like he's got all his bags packed. So to fucking shoot down Noob now just feels so wrong to me. But fucking, I love Smoke, and I love I love his footsie game. I love his down one traps. That shit is so sick to me. But the thing about Noob is like I said, his time is now. You can't see him. It's fucking Noob City right now. I can't fucking. Oh, we'll say Smoke. I'm saying Smoke. I will say Smoke, and I will stick to that answer. And I deeply regret not being able to help out Noob in this moment of what should be his moment of glory right now.
I appreciate you taking Evan as seriously as you are. I can't shake the troll. And so, I have to go with fuck Superman to hell and back because fuck that character. Fuck Superman all over the fucking place, man. In any capacity, every capacity, fuck that dude. And fuck Superman players. That's even more important here. Fuck Superman players. Fuck all you guys. Screw it. I don't care.
Like, Evan, here's the thing about Superman, bro. Like, in other fighting games, if you learn the matchup, you get better at fighting the character. With Superman, if you learn the matchup against Superman, it doesn't matter. The shit is just as hard as it was before. That's the difference with Superman. That's why he's such a trip to fight. So Superman buffs is a great meme, though. I'll take it.
He is dumb. That's like inherent. He has to be dumb, and he is dumb. They found a way, like I say, Batman's dumb shit, where his ass hitbox hit from all over the screen, doesn't matter where you are when he jump twos you. Like, that's just dumb. But that shouldn't be with Batman. Batman's better than that. Superman gets that kind of dumb shit. Like, that's how you make Superman good. Does he deserve any good shit? Is he a good fighter? Does he have any cool shit? No. He doesn't have any fucking cool shit. He's a fucking, whatever. He's a dude bro from fucking the middle of nowhere who's got, like, he's a dumbass. Whatever. It doesn't matter, though. Because he punches you and you're dead. He doesn't have to have anything going for him. This troll is effective.
It's
I told you,
one.
man.
I like it.
I told you. This is what bugs me the Tekken. This is why the skin meta is effective. I can't do this fucking shit. Noob Saibot is gonna be in MK11. It was kind of stupid for him to be in MKX, honestly, because people already love Noob so much just for being Noob before MK9. And then he came out and he had that fucking Power Ranger clone shit. That was even better. And it's like, dude, if you just repeat Mortal Kombat 9, people's gonna be happy. People's gonna be over the fucking moon. I would be too. Noob was sick. Noob was sick before that. He's sick. He's sicker since MK9. It's printing money. It's easy. It's baby mode. He has to be in the game. If he's not, you guys are morons. You guys might be morons. Smoke is awesome, and Fujin is too, and they're all good, and they all should be in the game. Fuck Superman.
I agree with all those things. We should probably wrap this up soon, because I may lose power very quickly.
Absolutely.
I don't know how much time we got left here, so...
That has actually concluded the whole list of questions as I see them in front of me. I didn't think we'd do it, but we did. Didn't end on the highest note we could have. I felt like, maybe Down for Realities was a stronger exit, but that's okay. We take what we can get. This is just a better incentive for you guys to buff the questions for the Shrine channel for next time. Because, man, we did it. Like, I think. Unless, listen, if we overlooked your question, you're salty, post it again. That's cool. Do it at the bottom. Maybe I missed it. It's possible. I don't think so, but it's possible. Totally possible. It is 4:30 a.m. Anything's possible. Is there anything else that we need to say in here, man?
No, just appreciate the questions, guys. Good stuff. Really, all of them awesome questions. I always have a blast doing this. I always look forward to these Q&As and shit. They're so fun. It
is fun. Like, they're really good questions, and they let me, like, it's like an adventure. My brain goes on, and I don't expect it. And it's fun. It's fun. You never know where you're going to end up. Sometimes you end up in fucking Tonewood. Like, I don't even know how we got there, but we did.
Dude, the Tonewood stuff was tight. That was so badass. Like, God, that is such a fun topic. If we have any musicians in the crowd, feel free to chime in the comments. I like that topic a lot.
Tell us what the fuck you think about Tonewood and what your bad monkey does for your Tonewood. Because everyone's got something like that. Fucking, you got your TS. Maybe that does something for your Tonewood. Everybody's got a strat. That's kind of what's fun about it. I'm going off on it again. I'm going to get mixed up into it again. This is not good.
I got a strat with a maple fretboard.
No, maple fretboard is maybe the most important strat, but you don't know because it's a mixture of science and magic with guitar and music. It is. It's fun.
No, I mean, I feel much the same way. At some point, I just lost confidence in the whole Tonewood thing. I don't really know where I stand anymore when it comes to that. I still believe, but the conviction is wavering. That's where I'm at right now.
Jury's out. That's what it sounds like to me. We need further study. Man, EMGs do though get in the way. Anyway, more questions. We need more questions in here. We did these. These are good. Otherwise, we're just gonna go talk about Tonewood and shit for fucking hours. It's gonna become like a carpentry show. What else? Like fucking play Turtles. Temp, I know that you don't want to play Turtles, but you should play Turtles. Didn't you say you have Turtles on your Xbox?
I do, but I always said, like, if everyone takes the Turtle thing seriously, I will play the remaining Turtle. The Turtle that no one's playing, I will pick up. So I will stand by that.
I don't know if anyone else is playing Turtles right now. I'm loving Donatello, though. Donatello's fun. And there's lots of pizza. And yeah, fucking you guys listening, jump online and try to fight me. I'm on there. It's really funny. I changed my my gamer tag name to say Django HP because for a minute I was making those stupid Warrior Short videos. So up above my health bar it said Django HP, and I thought it was funny.
That's tight. Yeah, I like it.
So come find me and fight me because I really want to hit you with my fucking pool cue stick. Donatello's staff looks a lot like a pool cue, I think, in this game. It's which I'm okay with. I never really thought about it, but it's kind of cool. I like it. I gotta wrap this up. I'm gonna keep thinking about different kinds of wood materials. Thanks, guys. Thanks for these questions. You gotta give us some more. These encourage some really fun trains of thought. Tip, was there anything else?
No, I'm good. Everything's cool.
All right. Thank you guys for listening. Thanks, Test Your Might, for posting this stuff up too. And Evan, even when he's not being a troll. When he's not being a troll, he's pretty cool. He's a pretty cool guy. I like that guy. When he's playing Superman, he's
I like the trolling stuff too. The trolling stuff's fun.
That's fine. Well, he's not trolling you, so that's easy for you to say. Yeah. Thanks, Test Your Might. Thanks, Evan, sorta, and thanks for listening, guys. See you guys next time.
Take care.
Bye.
No.
That's been a big thing throughout all these movies. Is like, where are these guys getting their money?